Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Nerds and Words, the show where four nerds get together and talk about the exciting world of MMOs, currently focused on Black Desert Online and what's to come. I'm Tim Allen 1337. I'm joined with three of the top streamers, personalities, and content creators in the Black Desert Online directory. Joe Never Fails.
Yo.
Moreland TV.
Flip Flop.
And Potion Shop TV.
Hi.
We learned a lot from our first dry run last week. One of my favorite parts of our episode, last week, was asking how our weeks were in the game. So if you guys don't mind, if we could start there, I think that's an excellent launching point.
I've been AFK training on dummies. Very, very effective. And
nice.
Yeah, that's about been it. I did some gathering the other day. I did some gathering testing out llamas, so that was exciting. What about you guys?
Are you still getting moved into your new place? You said you just got set up last week, right?
Yeah, I basically yesterday I took a work on a YouTube video, and then day before, so I'm starting to get back in my groove again, a little bit by a little bit. You know, trying to get back in my groove.
It's tough, like reestablishing homeostasis when you uproot and then move somewhere else, dude. I feel you, dude.
Yep,
I feel you, man. Word. I had some gains on my EU free to play account this week. Like we hit 245 main hand, 249 awakening with finishing up Deve's Guide. 8.5 hours in the Mancha Forest.
Wow.
On loot scrolls. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
And then just RBF.
Did you say
RBF
8.5?
Yes. No one reacted. 8.5. Yeah, dude.
I said
loot
wow.
Scroll hours. Yeah. Dude, it was rough. It was rough. I got an ogre. I got an ogre ring, a raw ogre ring drop before I got my soiled, which was wild.
You're so lucky.
He was awesome. I made 23 million in ogre blood while waiting for that damn soiled ogre.
Wow,
It took me like 15 minutes.
I got
I
only
got
second
one
ogre.
so fast.
Man, that is. I can't imagine actually getting ogre from ogres. It just blows
So
my
you,
mind.
you had a really shitty week, though, huh, Joe? Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's it was, that's what I'm getting at.
Jesus Christ. The highlight of your week is 8.5
Yes.
hours of grinding ogres.
I'm waiting for the reaction. Come on, man.
I guess I had to realign that you're playing a free to play thing, which so 8 free loot scrolls hurts, right? You just threw tens of millions of silver away. Wow, good for you, man. That EU thing seems to be working out well for you. I'm proud of
It's so
you.
much fun. It really is fun, dude. We're getting to that point where I'm making good money. So it's not just like effort. It's actually fun to play. So it's very cool. And I'm done with that shit. So we're done.
How about you, Moreland?
I made another Tet Black Star and a Tet Tungrad ring, so that was nice.
The
What are you doing with all
RNG
that money?
just does not stop, does it?
Well, I needed the ring to push me into the next bracket because I got an extra AP from the new journal. So got the extra AP from the journal, got the extra AP from the Tungrad ring. And then I just have like 40 something bills sitting in the bank. I'm probably going to save it up for a Pen Black Star. I think that's going to be my next upgrade.
A Pen
Nasty,
Black
dude.
Star? Really? You're just going to buy it?
Yeah, I think Biohack's going to sell me one. So it all depends on Odalita, right? If Odalita is good, I'm going to keep my Narcs because they have the common damage on them, so I'll just grind with those. But if Odalita is kind of meh, if it's like Dragon 2.0, then I'm going to sell the Narcs and get distortions. So it depends on that, but probably I'm just going to keep the Narcs and get a Pen Black Star.
Nasty,
Cool.
dude. I saw the title. You were like 55 bill up. It was the third Black Star you hit. That was like right at war starting or right at siege starting. It's like you're a madman.
It is
Yeah, I
crazy.
10 foiled the last one pretty good. I waited until Siege started and then clicked it and it went up.
Perfect.
Oh man.
So are you doing are you getting these 100 stacks organically, or are you just been sitting on it? I know you fail stack pretty often.
Like half of them are organic. The other half are whatever events, Altar of Blood, whatever they've given us 100 stacks for over the last year. But yeah, some of them I made organically from failing Tet Boss gear from like 80 to 110 ish.
That shit seems super meta, and selling those Tet Black Stars, people just keep buying them. They just keep buying them.
They're going up. They're going to continue to go up, I think, because
Yeah.
it's really hard to make them. It's really hard to get the Black Spirit Claws. They're constantly sold out and back ordered. It's hard to get the materials that you need to even go for it. So you kind of have no choice but to buy the ones on the market.
Fair enough.
There's a lot of new people coming in and getting that next phase of gear. They're looking for that stuff. So there's always going to be a market for people buying it. And the economy's inflating in general. So it's like a perfect storm.
Yep, and I mean, if you want one and you've been waiting for a month for the prices to go down, and they just keep going up, eventually you're just gonna,
have to buy it.
and you're just gonna buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So my week was I had an interesting week. I've been trying to stream during the day a little bit, like on Monday, Tuesday, stuff like that, when I have the free time. And I really got burnt out from the drama that happened last Saturday evening. All right, Sarah's boring, Joe. And and so I took a couple of days off and kind of worked on myself personally. I know this probably should be more in-game stuff, but started some healthier habits, got my sleep schedule right, hung out with my son a little bit more. I do at least 125 push-ups now every single day. I'm kind of incrementing that every single day.
Let's go.
Drinking 6 to 8 bottles of water, all that kind of stuff. So and then I've been grinding a little bit.
Dang.
I'm still working on my DP, but this week I really just kind of focused on myself as a person more than the video game. I walked away from kind of the leadership stuff and Aftershock a little bit because we've got a great leadership team, and I walk away every once in a while, so they're used to it. But I really just focused on myself, and I'm proud of myself for doing that, quite frankly.
I'm proud of you too, dude. It's
That's
dude,
like
so many
huge to do
people.
so much of that.
Yeah. So many people are like taking their stress out and their frustrations and their anxieties out in the games that they're playing right now. So it's like really good to be able to have that self-check and be like, yo, I need a little personal time. I need some, mental safety time. It's hard to do because you get so committed to the forward progress. You want to keep on trucking ahead, but
well, I have a standing
good to
plan
do,
with,
dude.
I have a standing plan with one of my friends, Joe, for Mondays, and he just didn't show up. He didn't text me. And so that was really my breaking point is my best real life connection that I've got right now just didn't respect me enough to even tell me that he was too busy to see me. And so I realized, I'm spiraling out of control and I need to take care of myself because Joe isn't there to hold me anymore.
So it sounds like Joe abandoning you is really the reason why you're getting into shape and finally taking care of yourself. I would say you owe Joe a big thank you for that.
I can't wait to hug and kiss him.
The crazy thing was, dude, I was really, really interested in hanging out with you, but I heard you were crying on your living room floor until 4 p.m. in the afternoon. And I was like, I don't really think I can even do anything about this. Like, I don't even want to get involved. Like, I just need to let that thing play out on its own. And then maybe next week we'll try again.
I think I'm going to knock your sub down a tier.
Well, dude, we committed to the grill. We committed to the grill, and you took the grill off the table. So it's like, come on, man.
I don't want to talk about the grill. I don't want to talk about the grill.
All right.
All right. So it sounds like we all had it. It sounds like I'm the only one that had Moreland and I were the only ones that had a good week. The rest of you can get right fucked. So what's first on the topic? We want to go over patch notes, right? Patch notes.
Let's do it.
Oh, I forgot what it was even in this week's patch.
Wait, how am I supposed to watch this while having your guys' camera up?
How are we supposed to watch what?
How am I supposed to look at the topics of the week?
Do you have a phone?
Your phone, dude.
Oh my gosh, this is actually
this is why we wake up more than 3 minutes before the podcast.
Yeah,
I've been talking up all week how this episode was going to be so much better. Jesus Christ, Potion.
How does this thing work again?
27 minutes early. Like, I wanted that to be noted in the minutes.
I woke up.
It was ready.
8 minutes early.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. I think I got it.
Here,
There's quite a bit of
I've got them.
juice after the patch notes we can talk about too.
Yeah. Cool stuff.
We have really good events right now. So the Black Spirit Adventure, make sure you're rolling your dice every 30 minutes. There's Shikatu boxes and there's good stuff on there now.
Loot scrolls daily for this week. So 1 million in the Pearl Shop, free loot scroll.
I saw that. I like that.
I actually really like the Shikatu gives gold event. I think that's the drop rate on it is a little bit low compared to what you get every single day. But the combining it for like the RNG box of money, I think that's really interesting. I think that's an interesting way to just directly inflate. It's fun, right? It's RNG that you can't lose at, which I think is kind
you
of a
can lose
different.
a little bit because
You
you can
can lose a
combine
little.
30 mil into and only get 10 or 20 back.
Oh, is that what it is? I'm sorry, my
yeah.
math is bad.
Yeah, but
Between
you can
10
go up to
million and
100.
100 million. Yeah.
I think it's good in concept. I think they could raise it a little bit. Like I
Yeah.
was talking about back in the day, whenever there was a Golden Dagger event and you'd suddenly go from making like 8 mil an hour to making like 12 mil an hour, and it just felt like this huge boost and you wanted to play the game all day. I kind of feel like that's something they could do with an event like this, but maybe they're afraid of adding too much silver into the economy right now.
Yeah, I was trying to
There's a
think
lot of stuff.
about that
Yeah.
too. Is this the right time to introduce? Well, I guess the commodity market is kind of inflated, right? Or not inflated, but it's expensive to buy accessories. And so, you guys really think that they actively track that and then bring silver liquid through the events?
Not in our region. I think they do in Korea, but not in our region for sure.
So it's just luck. It's a coincidence.
Yeah, it's just sort of we're sort of getting the residual effects of events that are designed to fix the Korean market. That seems to be the trend.
I think all the stuff that we're getting is weeks in advance, like weeks and months in advance. They have that shit that's already regimented and planned out. Whatever happens is happening based off the population that's playing. I think this one specifically is to get a lot of new people accustomed. One of the byproducts is getting them accustomed to the gamble. Because it's like, hey, here's this event thing. You can take the money, or you could try to get more. That's like
yeah. Speaking of getting people accustomed to gambling, they gave us all a free RNG $10 loot box on the day that they started selling those.
What do you guys get?
The first hit's always free. They gave everyone.
There you go.
Yeah.
The first one's on me, kid.
You opened your box and you got 5,000 pearls. You should buy more of these. Wow.
I had a guy in stream today. He said he just started his free to play EU account and he got the 5K pearls and he just bought a tent. So his whole free to play account is nasty right now.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. So sick.
1% chance.
Yep.
I've never bought drugs or gambled, so I don't know about any of this.
Unfortunate.
What do you guys get? I got Advice of Alex on mine.
I did too. I got a 35 stack, I think.
35 stack. Yeah,
Ooh.
35 to 45 stack.
I spent $200 and bought as many things as I could, so I don't remember what I got off of the first one.
Probably got all
Did you
your
get anything
money
good?
back.
No, I didn't. I got horses or something. Or no, that was the last time I did this. I don't know. I was blacked out. No, I only bought 3 or 4. I just got some fail stacks and some bullshit. I keep telling myself to stop doing it, and then it keeps fuck you, Moreland. All right, I see you.
Never again. This is the last time, I swear.
Tim, what
Yeah.
percentage of your BDO and or streaming would you say that you actually are sober enough to remember?
He has to wait.
He's actually thinking about it.
So I would say 98 to 99.9% of it. The only time I forget that I do something is when I've been drinking for 5 or 6 hours and it's 4 a.m. and I've been up for 20 hours or something. But that's never on stream. It's never on stream. Where I get weird is Discord DMs at 3 a.m. If you get Discord DMs from me at 3 a.m., I'm probably not going to remember that I did that until noon the next day. If you really wanted a real answer off of that.
I
Ball
didn't.
thrower
Thank
says
you.
72%. Right. So I just want to touch on the Shy's Got Talent thing real quick, the music thing.
So good.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's a good update.
Okay. I think this is a really cool community thing where we can see the individual talent from the people who play this game, and you see it with screenshots and the beauty album and all that kind of stuff. And quite frankly, I'm just numb to it personally, but being able to see musical talent of people putting in Skyrim and all these different songs, and I guess there's a leveling up process. I haven't dug into too much into it, but I think it's really cool to see the musical talent of the BDO community as a whole.
I think that they need to offer way better rewards, but I think other than that, it's a really cool event. Just the Shy music thing in general is a really cool addition to the game.
Yeah, it's a whole nother element to it. I mean, I feel like I'm actually it brings the game world more alive, makes it feel more active, right? It's we have an active role in making the game a more enjoyable place to hang out in,
I was standing around Heidel's storage, just sorting my inventory or something, and some Shy randomly starts playing this orchestral set that they put together in the game. I didn't even realize that they could compose something that complex. That I'm sitting there listening to it, like, wow, okay, this had some atmosphere.
Yeah, I hope they
It's,
had more instruments. Right now they only have 3, right?
Going.
Right now they have 3 instruments. They have 3 of them.
Do it better. There's 3 instruments that you can play at the same time. Like you don't have to have 3 shies to do it.
Yeah, I think it's drums, flute, and whatever the other one is. I hope they have
think
more.
Guitar, probably guitar.
Yeah.
I think it's a really brilliantly designed thing that is going to be done in a way that can showcase BDO in a really good light right now, because they're convincing people to make YouTube videos about it. They're going to be sharing the YouTube videos about it. People are going to be, sharing content, encouraged to make content. But again, like the reward is not enough. It's one title, which is badass. I'm a producer. Ooh woo. Like the title is lit, but there's only one person in the game who's going to get it. Yeah. So if the rewards were better, I think we'd see a lot more cool shit from it. But.
Ooh woo.
Ooh woo, dude.
Moreland is not a group of woos.
That's the downside of the music, is that it's tied to that horrible class. I wish that it was a global thing that anyone could compose. The fact that I have to play shy and like walk around and listen to people say things like ooh woo, that kind of makes me want
to. What's your guys' shy's name?
Shia LaBeouf.
Boomerang.
I don't know why I named mine. Let's see.
Mine's Consume Flesh.
Mine is So Cute. It was supposed to be So Cute, but I don't know how to spell, so.
My EU shy is Used Smeagol, though.
Used?
Used Smeagol. Not just the normal Smeagol. Used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Hey, Moreland, the secret shop got an update. You can buy more Caffers bundles.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
they're decent. I spent a bunch of energy on it, actually, especially with Armor Stones sold out right now. It's okay. I got some Caffers for like 2 to 2.5 mil. I mean, when you factor in the cost of the energy, it's not that exciting. But yeah, it was decent. I got something out of it. I'm a little bit closer to. I'm about to finish that C10 Dim Tree for Odalita, so that was nice, I guess.
Is it worth rolling Patrigio at this time with potions selling for max?
Probably not. I mean, you might break even. Like you'll get Caffers that are cheaper than the market price, but like I said, once you factor in the cost of the potions, it's kind of, I don't know. You might come out a little bit ahead. It's probably not worth your time.
Do you think we're ever going to run out of Caffers on the market? There's going to be a shortage. There'll be
absolutely. That's going to happen any second. As soon as Odalita has a release date, the Caffers market will completely empty out.
I need to start streaming Gathering Sap.
So to go back to what I did this week, I forgot to mention that I actually Arnold Spawn. I'm sure he's touched every one of our streams at some point. But I enjoy his potion. I enjoy his banner, and he has nuggets of wisdom. And he goes, man, you should really get set up with a little bit more mastery and a Tet Manosax at least. And I thought about it because I agree with you, Moreland. I think the Caffers are gonna dip. And so being able to self-supply when you're trying to get all C9 armor or maybe push that last C10 or something like that is kind of my plan, right? I'm trying to stock up meat now for my guru boxes. And then I'm storing all my energy in potions. I've got 75 potions, and then I buy the weekly life skill potions for like 200 pearls or whatever. Just chump change, right? Fuck you,
yeah, excellent.
And then I'll be able to self-supply some pretty decent dust. Hopefully by the time the Caffers are gone, I'll be able to pull 1350 or 1300 gathering mastery and be pretty decent at it. So I finished what is that Heralds for the 80 stack. So I had a 91 stack, 2-tapped it to Tet, and I feel pretty good about it. It's fucking expensive enhancing those tools, man.
Yeah.
I used like all my my free artisans that they gave us and stuff. You really got to pick those tools carefully.
You can't even build stacks off of them either because you only get one stack.
One
stack. I forgot about that.
They didn't learn from accessories, bro.
I failed 15 to pry like 10 times. It was like a 40% chance. Yeah, exactly, Joe. I was like, oh, fuck.
That's miserable.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yikes.
Show up this Monday. I need you.
You pick me up, bro.
I don't know.
Oh, that's true.
I'm not sure what will happen if you skip out on 2 weeks. Last week, he entirely reformed his entire life. I kind of want to see what happens this week.
I might start a new business, man. I might just like ascend.
He's gonna start doing sit-ups.
No. God, that's awful.
Never that.
Mm-mm. It's way too far.
We got Dora Morgrim's adventure log this week too.
Yeah. Has anyone done it yet?
I just went for the 1 AP and skipped everything else.
Yeah.
I did the 1 DP because 1 AP right now doesn't behoove me, and 1 DP is the cheapest DP upgrade that I can get through all the Kafirs that I'm trying to get. So once we're done here, I'm going to be 351 Nuver DP with Tetnarks.
Honestly, It's probably the cheapest DP that I can get as well. I don't know. I'm above the 346 bracket, so sheet DP is kind of like,
I really wish that they had done something better for this journal, because the whole reason they released it was to fix boss gear, because they have Oasis gear and the free try suppression gear, right? So I feel like this entire thing is just to fix the marketplace because they fucked it up. So like I don't know what the.
That's what every adventure journal is, though. It's literally the
true.
mechanic they use to correct the market, and whether it's Monos ruby necklaces or tree spirit belts or whatever comes next.
Oh yeah, that
literally
next one,
what they do.
So
you guys got your tree belts already?
I stopped selling mine. I keep getting all those stupid accessories, but I think I'm stacking DP so I can go to Tet Distortions as soon as possible, right? Because it's an 8 DP change to go from Tetnark to Tet Distortion. But it's 5 AP to make that swap.
You're gonna gain 10 AP if you switch from Tetnarks to Tet Distortions.
Right, both 5 AP each, right?
Pretty nice, yeah.
Yep.
So I'm on that C9 grind, so I can afford the DP and stay max bracket, right? Where I'll get like this much tankiness, but it's a ends to a mean that is Tet Distortions while keeping max DP bracket.
Do you feel that DP a lot on a staff class?
It's tough on staff class, but I feel it a little bit. I'm excited to try it out in Siege tonight. But the Node Wars that we've had this week have been pretty rough. And so all these 3v1s and Corrupt just after us, and all that kind of stuff. It's been difficult to really get a good gauge of it. Plus I end like an idiot all the time. So
same.
You could just go full DP, get yourself some cadres and everything.
Oh, fuck that. I did that. I did that before Succession. When the Succession classes came out, I just cut through the DP that I had. So I was 245, like 360 something. And that was a really cool place for a witch. But then Succession came out and just cut right through it. So I sold the accessories and bought Kafirs.
I think the most valuable DP that you can get is from 346 to 346 with distortions. It's a really, really, really fun prog. And it's like that. I know that you're in this spot right now. Like you feel like you're aggressively playing the game to get all those Kafirs to go from C6 to C9. And like, I never felt that way with DP in this game ever until that point. I was like, yo, this is going to make me so strong. This is going to make me feel so tanky, dude. I have to get it. It was awesome.
I wish I was playing Guardian. I saw Sasha yesterday. Didn't shot call any top fragged.
Sasha went ham, dude.
He went ham.
Yeah.
And so I have this constant like, oh, I don't want to reroll to Guardian, even though I grind on Guardian at 265 Kuda, which sucks, man. It's easy. It's fun. I make a decent amount of money, but it's like, we really need PAs. So I'm sticking with the staff. But the DP, to answer the question, Moreland, the DP on staff, you feel it a little bit in RBF and smaller scale, but once you get a bunch of boys piling on you, it feels the same.
You like when the boys pile on you? Yeah.
Stop. Grow up.
Ooh. You said it, bro. You said it, dude.
Grow up.
Ooh.
Of course I do. Hey, let's talk about Garmoth.
Tim loves when the boys. Loves the DP when the boys
still
pile
broken
on him.
or what?
Hey Joe, you want to bring up that handsome man that runs BDO Mobile again?
Yo, listen, the lead developer for Black Desert Mobile is incredibly handsome.
Ooh.
Moreland, you agree, right?
Yes, Joe, I agree.
Yeah,
He's a good-looking
I'm
man.
not the only one.
This is way better with cameras. This is way more fun. This is way more fun. So Garmoth is a fucking hot pile of shit. Do you think they should? What the fuck?
Well, they broke him apparently when they made him a guild boss on console. So I don't know.
You need to set a fucking alarm potion.
What? They made him a guild boss on console. They did.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
With Garmoth?
No,
It
it's the
might.
same.
You
It's the
never
same
know with
week.
this
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
He's
it totally
saying it's the
does.
same week.
It
Yeah.
broke the literally same week it came out on console. The exact
He's
same
saying
week.
that the update that they made it the guild boss is the same update that created the lag that is destroying Garmoth as we know it in the game on PC.
I
Yeah.
don't think those are correlated at all.
Well, this
But
is
it's a
Pearl Abyss,
change.
bro. This is Pearl Abyss.
It happened.
That's true. We have gotten ninja shit before.
I think the scaling and the like this was it just brings me back to helicopter boats in the middle of the damn Margoria Sea, dude, and seeing Vel, and it just makes me cringe because there's such a nice feeling of going on that adventure to a really rare world boss, and it just gets like any little tiny thing that I get pretty critical about it makes me upset.
I like it. I
this
keep
is
getting
like-
Garmoth bundles. They can keep it broken for as long as they want. I never go to
Yeah,
their
right,
boss,
right.
so I'm getting
Yeah.
free Garmoth bundles right now. So
It's easier than
So
going
what
to Garmoth.
How do you guys feel about Garmoth top to bottom, like as a world boss? We touched on it a little bit last week, but maybe since it's in the patch notes again and it broke again,
Yeah. I think.
do you think they should just move to it being a guild boss like Khan is or something like they do on Xbox?
No, I don't think so. I think that they need to make the HP a little bit less, and I think the fight is much more fun than it was. And let people who want to go, right? I think world bosses as a whole need like a rework because the whole idea is that they like if you want to grind all day, you can grind all day. If you want world boss a day, you should be able to go and fight world bosses and go to channel and hunt world bosses. That should be something that you should be able to do.
Yeah, we talked about that last week where like the fun in world bosses is kind of lost since the channel swap, thing is not
Yeah.
really, all the HP is shared. I agree with that. And the PvP, but we don't need to rehash all that up.
Yeah.
I'd
But
love to
I
see
feel like
more
it's
difficult stuff, like-
okay now. As far as world bosses go, it has mechanics, things you need to dodge, things you need to things we need to attack, right? So I feel like kind of okay with it, right?
I still think there's a lot to be desired for what world
Sure.
bosses could be from what it is. Like you could have a little bit more complex mechanics and have people like actually thinking instead of just like standing in a circle and spamming AoEs or whatever for X amount of time, and have it feel rewarding. I would personally, what Moreland said last week hit me in the fucking stomach. It was like, why do we go for 2 Cron stones and X, like a couple of weapon stones and armor, like make it more difficult, make it more challenging, and give us some better rewards for it on average. Keep the rare loot the same, but just let it be worth more of the time. Making 6 million silver, spending 15 minutes of your life out there, like that's 24 million an hour. It's not good.
I said that, but that's okay. I can say smart things too, Joe.
I thought Moreland said that.
No, I said that.
I don't think I said that.
Oh shit, dude! It does surprise me that Tim said that because that was really smart.
I don't mean to derail the podcast, but fuck you, Joe.
I'm sorry, I misremembered, dude. My bad.
Alternate facts. Great.
Yeah, I misremembered.
What's with the mounts? What happened here? They updated boats and galleys and shit.
I don't know.
I
I
don't
haven't
know.
been on a boat in a while.
Yeah, it's no real. I don't know.
The rations went up. The turn went up on the guild.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess
The
they gave
amount of
guild chips more
cannonballs.
stamina and stuff. What do you even
to what
use
end?
guild chips for in this game?
Going to
They're
Vel.
updating them because they're
Yes.
trying to do naval warfare. They did it on a test server, and they're trying to make that a thing.
Oh,
Have they been on a boat? Have they been on a boat in this game?
The only thing that changed was the max rations on the prow and the max durability on the Sophia cannon. The plating and the breezy and the sail stayed the exact same, so it's a little more rations and a little more durability, which is nice. But
And max capacity has tripled for cannonballs, which I feel is
yes,
plays to Potion's point there. Have they been on a
More
boat in this
battles.
game? It's terrible. The water content in this game is a strong D minus.
well, they announced Blue Battlefield like almost a year ago. So
yeah.
I
any
missed
second
that.
now.
I think they've been making some steady improvements on what it was to what it is
Yeah,
now.
it's been very,
They've
very-
been making a lot of improvements. Yeah,
Like I liked it.
what it was sucked.
They have this new can mechanic where you can press down. I think it's like Q or something like that, and or E, and you'll look down your cannon sights to the right of your boat, and you can like aim left or right. I don't do a good job at explaining it, but it's a very, very good mechanic.
I went to Vel last week for the first time in a while, and there was a boat that was lagging behind us, and then it would like drift, skip around, and then all of a sudden we'd see cannonballs in the sky, and then we'd skirt to the side, and then all of a sudden 9 of them would land on us and kill us.
Yep.
And it was like, what's the counterplay to that? Is we turn around, lag, and
It's channel swap, bro. That's the
well, that's what we did. That's what we did.
did.
Like it's not fun or like somebody gets a drop on you, you're just fucked. You're just fucked. There's no counterplay to it, right? It's like having stealth in this game, is like it doesn't make any sense. Once you get a catch, you already can't counterplay. So let's have stealth, so you can't see that you can't counterplay. Anyway, that conflating.
If you're like 100% prepared, you can have people that are ready to board with axes and chop their damn boat off.
Well, it's
So
like you have the 3, 2, 1
Oh
hard,
boy,
right?
more axe content. My favorite.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let me ask you a question, PA. But dude, unless you're ready and you have the same level boat and you're prepared with the same level of skill, that's pretty much almost every like PvP situation you're going to get into on the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a Carrack or something. There was like 9 cannons, just like it was like one side, right? They couldn't shoot both sides and hit us, right? But so there's skill and time that goes into that. They outgeared us boat wise. Fine, cool. But like the lagging, and I don't know how to counterplay that with some just the water
It's rough.
content. This game is garbage.
Well,
And so
one of the big
Blue
problems is like.
Battlefield-
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I finished. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I think one of the big issues is like the water you cover much more ground, right? And they don't update your character, but every so often, so the lag is expedited, like in very very noticeable on the water because you're going 10 times as far, so you notice the lag 10 times more, because you're a lot faster in the water.
It's
Calling you
exactly right. So when you've got the issues that we have on land with players, now you've got these huge boats, like these absolutely enormous boats, and like 50 people on those boats, all trying to have like a really competitive bit of PvP. It's not horrible, so I'm not going to say it's trash, but it is.
Strong D minus.
So many other games have done
a lot
it
of room
well,
for
though.
improvement.
That's the thing that gets me is like you're just thinking
Yeah.
about boats in Darkfall or Arcade or something like that. Like
Arcade
there's
is
been
amazing.
really, really
Arcade is
good
great.
naval combat in other MMOs that involve hundreds of players.
Yep.
Mhm.
So it would be cool if they could actually devote whatever resources they need to devote to get it to work. But I don't know, man. Like the improvements have been they've been consistent, but they've been small. Like I
Yep.
feel like boating needs some kind of major overhaul if we're going to take it seriously as PvP or as a battlefield or whatever.
Well, you
Yeah.
can't even AFK on a boat to go to Vel. You get like lagged off, or
You
you're in the
get
middle of a,
but yeah,
Yeah.
You'd be on halfway in your trip, like, hey, whoa, turn around, pick me up, pick me
I
up.
fell off the boat.
You're like just sitting back there, leaning back on the mast, and you're like, doop, and you're gone. You're like, what happened?
Gabe Nadian got so yeeted last week that he just like turned his game off. Like he fell off the boat. And nobody noticed him. Which I feel like is Game Nadian, like as a whole, as a person, like his experience playing this game and on Twitch. Sorry, Game, but it was pretty apropos, man. So there's some other like knowledge shit and stuff that I don't really care about. Is there anything else in the patch notes that popped out to you guys that you want to talk about?
I think that
that
covers
was
everything.
main stuff. We have a lot of stuff coming up on the test server, PvE stuff, but no one knows what we're going to get and what we're not going to get. So I don't know if we can speculate on it.
Is it
Yeah,
the
there was
same
that
thing from last
super
week?
weird patch where they did like massive percentage across the board changes to a bunch of different classes.
It
But
didn't make any
then they
sense.
were like, just kidding. We'll see. So who knows at this point?
Yeah.
Is this the week that they made changes and they reverted them back a couple hours later?
I think it was last week.
Okay. I can't recall what ended up happening with
Yeah.
last week.
It should be this week with the patch coming up that we get to see what they did, what we're actually going to get. Because it went to test server, then KR this week, and then this coming week we should be getting it.
I don't
So-
think the changes went to KR. Did they go to?
They
did
did
they
go to
actually
KR.
push those to KR? They
Some-
made a big sweaty dev post about how like, oh, we're going to keep this on the test server. We're not going to publish these yet.
Some things like animation changes and things like that, those are going through, but damage numbers are the same from what I heard.
Okay.
So I'm curious to see what that affects because there was also a lot of that in there.
I just want the ranger nurse to go through just so I can see Anfield's brain explode.
Oh God, don't.
Yeah!
Oh
It's just-
God.
That's I don't say much in the partner Discord anymore, but anytime Anfield types something, I just go, man, when's Ranger buffs coming?
And he
Which
loves you for it.
Which is probably why I'm not super well liked in this community, but that's fine. Take the L. I'll take the L for that.
I just hope that around the time that all these nerfs come to NA, we have the new class so that I can rage reroll when Warrior Succession gets stabbed again.
I don't think like what classes do you feel like are too strong or too weak right now in PvE or PvP?
I mean, clearly Witch, Wizard, and Guardian are all broken and probably always will be broken. And yeah.
You used to grind on a Wizard, Moreland. I've always wondered why you didn't like hard in on that. It's 62. It's been 62 forever, right? Have you ever thought about fucking with some Suck Wiz?
Yeah, I thought about it. I even made a Tet Blackstar staff and messed around a little bit. I don't know. It's there's something about the character's movement, I think. Like I'm so spoiled by playing things like Lawn, Warrior, and Kuno, where I have like really good movement and dodges and like lateral movements, and that just felt missing on Wizard. I felt too stationary. And especially with my playstyle, I tend to like overextend a lot of the time and then run away with 100 HP, and I can't do that on Wizard. Like if I'm overextending, I'm dead. So I can't get away with half the stuff that I get away with on a class like Warrior.
Did you try to play Suck Kuno at all?
No.
Suck
The only
Kuno's
succession,
nasty, dude.
Yeah, the only succession that I really seriously tried was Lawn, Guardian, and Warrior so far.
Suck Kuno is wild. It's actually the movement and the damage it does. It just doesn't have the protection that Awakening Kuno has. It's nutty. It's really scary.
I remember fighting Kitna in RBF and just never having any idea how to actually catch him.
So like,
I don't have the brain power to make that work. I tried it, and Kitna was actually in Battle Arena with me, and I'm trying to, they're trying to teach me some combos, and I'm like there were some basic animation cancels that were fine, but like trying to be as invisible as they are, as hard to catch as they are, and rotating those frontal guards, it's like, holy shit, this is a different level. I can't even back up shot call or think about what's happening in the fight and do this at the same time. So I gave it a couple of days. I did some RBFs or something. I'm like, this is not for Timmy boy. I'm too boomer for that shit.
Yeah, that's why you have staff classes.
That's what I'm thinking about.
And
Guardian
over a certain age.
I think about rolling to Lawn, actually. I've been legitimately thinking
Suck
about
Lawn
rolling.
or Awakening Lawn potion?
Probably Awakening, just because like the grab just makes it. I don't have to think about PvP. I like grinding, right? I don't put like 1,000 hours into practicing PvP, so I can play Lawn and I can be good without actually being good.
That's a very well said. Yeah, it's a good summary of Lawn.
That's exactly right. That ranged grab is really dangerous. It's really dangerous.
It's Lawn grab and Mystic grab, like just tilts the shit out of me, right? I can deal with a block jump into grab. I can really deal with that. I can't deal with the Lawn grab. They've got like, they should have like T-Rex arms like the Wizard grab, right? It should be like, I'm grabbing you. But it's just like,
yeah, they've got those Kratos blades. They just throw out their little ribbon swords at you and then catch you from 12 feet away.
Yeah.
And it's iframe all the way up to you, right? So they're invincible from like 10 meters out. And then they grab you from 5 meters out, and then they talk shit to you, and it's just like,
get good, nerd, and you're like,
yeah.
Yeah, my favorite is seeing a Node War when I'm like running up, chasing a Lawn and the E buff, and they just ballerina away. They just do their iframe like just thousands of times until they're in another dimension.
I feel like Lawn was such an interesting addition to this game, where they just like fly away. They literally fly away, or they fly in. Like your focus, right? You're e-buffing, PA,
like
double teleport in, and then just what the fuck? Where do they come from?
I kind of like the flying though. I think that part's cool.
Yeah.
I hope
I'm excited.
I hope the new male
new
Lawn class that's coming out can fly.
With as bad as Z-Access is in this game, it's just like another Z-Access problem for me. So I'm a little,
surprisingly though, the Z-Axis on Lawn actually mostly functions properly. Like she doesn't bug out nearly as much as other classes,
right?
Even though she literally flies. It's like, I wonder if we could get some of that technology move back to some of the older classes. That'd be cool.
Like Striker, they do twisted
right.
collision. They do twisted collision. They're like, oh shit! Right?
Yeah, they start immediately falling in the air off of normal abilities. It's
Dude,
like they
Warrior,
know.
I dash off a 6-inch rock and I get drop stunned. It's like
Yeah, exactly.
Musa does that shit too.
And then they put in the
Musa's
patch notes like
bad.
2-3 times. We fixed it, and you're like, no.
It's like
Definitely
they
not
almost
fixed.
understood that Lon was going to be falling from like 15 to 20 meters, and all of their abilities are ready to play off of that. But
oh yeah,
no other
speaking
class
of
has that shit.
fixes, we kind of talked about this last week, but how did the new optimization play out for you guys? Did you feel like Siege was better? Did you have better FPS?
Everything I've been doing in
Did you use the
RBF.
memory change thing that they added last week. Any of you guys?
I didn't have it running. I just kept my normal settings.
I turned it on and I turned crop mode on this week, and I've had really good results. Like everything feels smooth, and just doing it while I'm streaming.
Maybe I'll
and
try that this week.
Huh.
Yeah, it's felt better for me with crop with the optimization mode.
I missed this.
They added a new optimization thing where you can increase the memory that the game uses, and it will supposedly
What?
make the game run better.
Yeah,
But
Where?
it didn't really seem to do much for me.
Your settings, yeah.
Yeah, just in your graphic settings.
Yeah, it seems what was the consensus that it works really really good at high settings, but very bad at low settings or something like that. Well, it was something like that where people didn't see a big performance increase at like low, slightly high, and stuff like that. But they saw like really really big gains at like remastered and very high.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't seem to do much for me. I think that actually this last week was one of the worst weeks I've had in a while, just in terms of like loading times. There was every time that I approached like an enemy ball or an enemy fort, that I had to be touching it physically before it loaded on my screen. So I don't know. I hope that we can get some attention on the servers, because it seems like for the last few months it's just been degrading week after week.
Yeah.
Well, they added the back code of Orlito. This was really the reason I say this is because of what happened with Valencia like forever ago. So when they added Valencia to our game servers on the back end, our game servers started lagging out. We couldn't feed our pets. We couldn't grind in Medea. We had all these problems.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
we have the CP changes that already came out with Orlito in Korea. So it makes me think that they probably already put the Orlito changes in on the server side, but they haven't activated for us to play, right? So the server's now running with an extra 10,000 mobs or whatever it is, and because of that they're more laggy than we're used to. So I don't know. I think that's what's going on with it.
Maybe. I mean, that shouldn't affect sieges, right? If everything despawns, but it is strange that only in the last couple months this seems to have suddenly gotten worse out of nowhere.
Yeah, especially for EU. Like EU was like, oh my gosh, look how we have so many players, and it's like we're overflowing on every server, right? And it's like, all right, let me tell you what. There's not that many new players playing that this is going to overload the servers, because it's not like we have more players from like 2 years ago, right? Like we have maybe the same number of players as 2 years ago, but we don't have more. So it doesn't make sense that we're overloaded.
I didn't know this shit. I thought the game was running great RBF wise, grinded wise underwater, but I guess I didn't get that good of a.
Your shit was working on Saturday, Joe. You could see like enemy forts and everything just fine.
Dude, I fucking popped off, bro. I went ham, dude. Holy shit. I was playing like crazy. I felt great.
What territory did your guild drop on?
I don't recall. To refresh my memory.
There was a node war. I think it was Thursday's node war. I was like bullshit out of my mind tilted because E-buff, Sage's memory, PA, down C to first teleport into Awakening, and then you hit spacebar to double teleport, right? So you're sitting there ready to do something, and my weapons got put away. I didn't get hit, nothing. Just my weapons got put away. Happened twice. And then I was getting CC'd by things that were like, I played with effects on. I wasn't streaming, right? And so I was getting CC'd out of nowhere. I was getting like that V stutter just randomly. It was one of the worst server client side. My game crashed once. It was fucking dog shit.
Your game crashes a lot.
It was a 3v1 2, and it was just like, fuck, this game sucks. I hate BDO today. but like the weapons getting put away without getting hit or something. Like there's some, attacks that hit you that your weapons get put away and you just have to go, I love BDO, but like it's just like, hey, I'm engaging and this is gonna be great. Nope, my weapons are gone. Guess I'm gonna die like an asshole. And Digital's like, you're garbage, kid. And I'm like, yeah, kind of I am. So I as far as server performance and optimization and all that shit, I had a fucking terrible week. Thank you for asking.
Same.
Maybe it was after the patch. Maybe
The biggest thing I noticed is when they added the water update, I lost like 20 to 30% of my FPS ever since they added water current and wind current, or wind whatever. I lost like 20 30% of my FPS ever since that update, and that doesn't have anything to do with the servers.
Water currents.
Yeah. The boat update, the Great Expedition.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah, it's been so that doesn't affect server lag, but that does affect the FPS side of it,
Maybe there's currents underneath the ground on the mainland that we can't see.
Well, what do you think's under land? It's got to be water, right? Because when there's not land, it's water.
Oh, I saw Jordan
so,
fell
yeah.
down. He fell through the map there a day because of BDO.
What did he see?
Hey, lots of water down there. Can confirm.
There
Lots
we
of
go.
water.
Splashed.
Yeah, well, he went splat.
What were the currents like?
That's what he did. He went splat and died.
Oh, he went splat, not splash.
But yeah, then once he used a tier and he was swimming around underneath the Earth or BDO or whatever you want to call it.
So I re-listened to our podcast before we get into the next topic from last week, and I think it was Moreland, but it could have been me, that said being able to use tiers in PvP is egregious or something to that effect. And I've really thought about that all week. What? We can't hear you, Joe. Stop eating.
Who said that?
Moreland said it.
Sounds like a word that I would use.
Yeah, egregious. Yeah, you use a lot of SAT words. But I've really been thinking about that all week, and I don't think I really internalized it when we were live last week. But holy fuck, that might be one of the best ideas I've heard in a long time. Is that vodka potion?
No comment.
I'll drink to that, brother. Wake and bake. So I just wanted to make that comment. I don't know if you have anything else you want to say about it, but I think Alien tiers and those instant reses and PvP happening would be an easy, low-hanging fruit first step to making PvP more risk-reward and interesting.
Well, and the annoying thing about it too is like whenever we bring this up, people in chat are always saying things like, "Oh, well, they'll never fix that because it costs them money." I don't even think it would cost them that much money. How many people are go out and buying like hundreds of dollars worth of Aliens tiers just so they can karma bomb? We get so many free Aliens tiers and blessings just from like logging into the game. Yeah. I don't think that it's a big money maker. Like I guess only they have the real data behind that. But I doubt that it would actually cost them anything. It's just lose-lose like for everyone. It doesn't make the company that much money, and it makes the game for sure worse for everyone who's playing it. I think I totally agree. It would be an easy low-hanging fruit for them to fix.
Mm-hmm.
As a free-to-player on my EU account,
oh god,
you don't get that many tiers. I have guys that love to come over and say hi to me at random points throughout the week on my EU account, and
big fans.
Oh, big fans, dude, big fans. They come and say hi, and I'm out of tiers. I find myself out of tiers.
Wow, so you're one of those people who just straight up pops tiers when you get jumped in PvP?
Well, if I'm in Aukman,
I do it on my life skiller. I did it today earlier on stream, and we had 7 people come out to grief me grinding meat, and 2 people went red. 5 aftershock came out. It was the most interesting deer meat gathering event I've ever had in my life. But which made me think this was the only positive thing. So I think that they should keep the ferry. Everybody gets one, right? So when somebody says hi to you on stream, right? Just, hey, your stream shit, bye. And then you res and you keep going. That's fine. Having that be part of your ferry. But I really like the idea of getting rid of Aliens tiers for PvP.
What would you say for? What do you say?
Because that's risk reward in Aukman and Histria, right? I'm sorry, Potion. That's risk reward for Aukman. Right? If you flag up, it's not like you res with Aliens tiers and you go hunt the guy to put him in jail. That sucks. That's so stupid. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, what were your thoughts on what should happen with Histria Aukman? Because those are like the new player spots now, not necessarily the hardcore spots. I think that makes sense for maybe Sakraya or Star's End if it was underneath ground, but
I'm
But
grinding
I
the
don't know.
fuck out of Achman.
I might be misunderstanding.
I kind of like that you get sent to town when you die in those places. I kind of think that it should be like that everywhere. Maybe not on your first death, but I think if you get killed several times at a PvP spot, you should go back. You should be sent to town.
Yeah,
Like, you
I
shouldn't be
do
able to
I do
res
think
there
that's fair, but I feel like also like finding a portal is really punishing me. That can take like 30 minutes to an hour, right?
Good. Yeah. Let's make open world PvP have some consequences.
I 100% disagree. I'm completely out on this because what happens if you're grinding and you're talking to your fucking stream and you get some Lan that's got nothing better to do than come out and fucking hunt you, and then you try to res and you got 10% HP and they just farm your body because they can just wait for you to get up and insta grab you and kill you over and over and over again. Are you dying?
Well, that's
Are
a
you
streamer
just-
problem.
Here's what they should do. They should disable aliens tiers in PvP completely. Then they should add like you should spawn, if you die at Achman, you should spawn at like the vendor or something, like some safe spot.
Okay.
But then if you die multiple times, if you die, 3 times within 5 minutes or whatever, then you should be sent to town. And I think they should
I like
put
that.
that at every grind spot in the game. If you get killed a certain amount of time within a certain amount of minutes or whatever, you should get sent back to town.
Yeah,
Joe,
I
I
don't
think
know.
you should just make it less fun to kill you, honestly. One of the worst parts of you being an Aftershock is I can't grief you.
I think that's I don't know. I think that the system as it is right now is pretty detrimental to the people who want to come out and do that. If they come out and they kill me in the desert, and if I'm an Achman,
Sure.
they've got desert debuff. So if anybody else comes out and kills them one time, they go to jail. If they want to keep killing me, if they want to keep flagging up on me, they lose their karma. If they go red and we're outside of the desert, then it is what it is. But if I'm free to play or if I'm spending money, I want to be able to res in that situation without having to go back to town, without having to go to node to get back up. I'm spending money to save my time. That's my pay to win. So that's the whole reason. I disagree. I think that there are tons of people that buy those tiers. I think that there are tons of people that buy those tiers.
Well, I have over 120 right now, and I've never bought. Like, I guess I got 10 from a value pack or something, but I don't know.
There's lots of goofy things that they could sell to us that would make the game easier or more convenient, but also worse. And I think Aliens Tiers is one of those items. Like,
yeah, I would agree with that.
in terms of paying money to have an advantage, there's lots of ways they could implement that into the game. Why don't they sell a potion that gives, like, why don't they sell super whale tendons that give you like a PA for 10 seconds and they could sell those for 50 pearls? Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff where you could say, like, I'm spending money because I don't want to deal with this. I don't think that makes the game better, though.
I think so. What Moreland was just saying is Joe angrily throws his wallet at the game.
Listen, the guy who just said he threw 200. God, no fucks given of the fucking boxes, dude. I'm talking about if I have pearls. It's barely the only thing I spend money on in the game anymore is 50-cent fucking pro reses when I'm in that on my NA account. If I die in Histria, I'm not fucking spending half an hour to find a goddamn portal again. If I die in Sicria, I'm gonna res. I'm gonna swap channels. But like that.
Okay, so what if the situation? What if this is the situation, Joe? What if somebody is coming into your grind? I didn't hear you. Go ahead. What'd you say?
If somebody comes to fuck with me, they're just gonna, if they can just kill me over and over and over again versus somebody who's more outmatched, right? The only people that come find me most of the time is either 3v1 because they know they can kill me, or somebody who's on a grab class that's just gonna kick my ass anyway with less gear or more gear than me. So that's the PvP that comes finds me. And then I gotta go spawn town after that because I don't have my tier, and that's my penalty.
Well, I think what Moreland said earlier was a very good example of how they could easily improve it. Right, first time you spawn in Achman, second time you spawn in Achman, third time you spawn in town. Right, so you die after you die twice. The first time you die, you're probably not going to be where they are. Right, so you can probably if you're smart, you would change channels. Right. And then and you're in our situation, we're streamers, right? So like obviously we're gonna have a way higher percentage of people coming and tracking us down at grind spots than your average player, right?
So here's the PvP that I usually get into, Joe. I have a much different experience. What happens to me is I'll be grinding, and some random person will come and just start silently destroying all the mobs in my rotation and just tanking my silver per hour. And in order to get them out of my grind spot, I have to flag up and kill them. And then they use 9,000 Alien's Tears to force me to go negative karma so that I can no longer kill them anymore. Or if I do go red, they see that as a victory because they've successfully abused a poorly designed system to make it so that I now have all this risk and I could potentially lose crystals and like, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay, well, has that happened to anyone but you?
Yeah, totally.
All the time.
That sounds
happens-
way more common than what you described. Everybody deals with karma bombers. Very few people deal with randoms showing up and killing them for no reason just because they're streaming.
I am the king of karma bombing. I named my boat the SS Karma Bomber. So
You are. That was like the first thing I knew about you.
That's how
Yeah, I
my
remember that
stream
video
became
compilation.
popular. Like that's actually how it went from no viewers to 30 viewers was karma bombing barcode, and then their entire guild stream sniped me for like a week. It was great, and that's how my stream became known. So thanks barcode.
Very different situations in that particular example. So you're talking about someone who's in your grind spot that is on your channel, but you already have the choice to leave. Like,
Yeah,
If-
I have. You have the
if-
choice to leave either way, right? Whether you're being karma bombed or whether you're doing the karma bombing.
yeah, but if someone's coming up and killing me, I'm getting forced to go somewhere else. That's fucking me up already. Like, if
That's
if
open world PvP.
Yeah, I think that's fun.
Okay, well,
no, it's one has the power for the aggressor, and the other one has the power for the pleb. The person has no
Yes.
business fucking.
The
there, who's
person with
fucking-
gear should have the power, in my opinion.
this
I mean,
is
a pleb can still grief you. All they have to do is just farm your rotation on top of you.
open world PvP is a contest of who is more stubborn. That's it. And you can cut it up that it's this or that, or it's you've got
That's true.
tiers, you don't have tiers. It's just who's more stubborn. That's what it boils down to. And
Yeah.
also, this is the second week in a row that my chat's informed me that none of us open world PvP, and we shouldn't talk about this topic.
Whoa. I've grinded Sostens for like 2,500 hours. I've done almost more open world PvP than everyone else in your chat.
Yeah, I have a clip of me 3v1ing Cho Nation while getting stream sniped. So I'm basically an open world PvP.
Yeah,
god.
imagine being a streamer and not open world PvP.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I'm not about getting sent to fucking. I'm gonna get sent to town because somebody's in my fucking spot, and if somebody comes up in my fucking grind rotation, I'll kill them. And if they want to come back, if at that point I want to swap channels and go somewhere else, that's a different situation than being forced to spawn town.
So what do you
Then-
think the win condition should be in that situation, Joe? How does someone win or lose when there's two people contesting a spot?
Well, there is no winning or losing.
That's the problem.
So I talk to people. I use my fucking words. I say, "Yo, you want these cheeks, bruh? You want these cheeks, bruh? You
Oh,
want
how's that working out for you?
I
They
bet that
usually
worked
say,
out great.
"Oh, you're scaring me. You're having a seizure, old man. Like, leave me the fuck alone. I'm out of here in 6 minutes."
So
Honestly, I talk. Hey, man, you're gonna be here for a minute. You want to duel in the fucking battle arena? It's a gentleman's agreement. Use the conversation. The only time it doesn't happen is when there are people who are specifically targeting me to come kill me, which doesn't happen for the 90% of people that play this fucking game.
I do the same thing, but I hit Alt Shift 5, which in all caps says sub to Tim Allen 1337 on Twitch.
So I'm not proposing a solution. I'm not proposing a hey, this is the way this needs to get done. All I'm
Yeah,
saying is
you're not here for that. You're the color comment.
yeah, I'm not. Well the fuck? I don't understand. I don't think that is this. That's the. You guys are all saying you have that problem. I don't have that problem with people coming in and griefing my rotation.
My main thing is I think there needs to be a winner and a loser, right? I don't really care who it is, honestly. I don't care if it's the pleb who always gets to win or the veteran player who gets to win. But I want there to be my gosh, my notifications, I'm sorry. So I want there to be a win condition. I want the winner to be the pleb or the person with gear. I don't really care who it is, but I want Cal or Prolibus to decide who that is, put it in the game, implement it, and then we can play around those rules that they choose. Right now, the rules say that whoever's more stubborn wins, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I mean, at the very least, they could implement what I'm talking about on Arsha. Like, I think that's absolute no-brainer. There's zero people who would be upset if they implemented harsher death penalties. Like, you get sent back to town if you get killed, 3 times in Arsha.
that's fucked though. That's what Kuno Ninjas.
Literally on the PvP channel, you don't want that. You don't want consequences.
Are you kidding me? You're saying a Lon that comes in and grabs you from 12 feet away, insta fucking grabs you and kills you.
Bro,
You're gonna
that's
get sent down.
PvP. That's the game you're playing. So you want no PvP to matter because Lons can grab you easily. So
That's
as
not what I said at all. That's not
What
what
are
I
you
said at all.
saying
You're giving the reward to classes that can catch
That's exactly what you said.
True.
so because some classes are better at 1v1, we can never have open world PvP objectives.
That what you're saying is the current system in the game as it is will be way worse if you make it the way that you want it because of those classes being in the game and having the ability to catch players a lot more easily. You're saying, well, everyone else is just fucked outside of ninjas and kunos and fucking Lons now. And anybody with
I think that should be a choice of the players to pick a class that's good at open world, pick a class that's good at Node Wars, or pick a class that's good at PvE. Every
It's
class should
already
have
part of
ups
the
and
process.
downs.
Yeah, there's also a social element to it as well, right? Like you
Mhm.
can have friends that are also grinding on the channel in another rotation nearby so that you guys can keep each other safe. I mean, that's how other PvP games work. Like people work together as a team. They don't necessarily, if you're a player that's weaker on your own, there's sort of emergent like social solutions that you can come up with that are supposed to be part of an MMO.
honestly, Moreland, honestly. So you're saying someone comes up to you in the open world and they kill you. You're going to stop doing what you're doing and you're going to get in Discord. You're going to say, someone just killed me. Before I res right now, I'm going to need backup of at least 2 people to handle this person.
That used to happen
That's
all
what
the
I've
time.
done in every other PvP game I've ever played except for
I do
BDO,
it.
because in BDO it doesn't matter.
Okay. But you're just going to sit around, not play the game until backup arrives.
No, I'm not going to turn the game off in the meantime. But I am going to call in backup if the objective matters. Yeah.
It just
If I want
depends.
to win and I need help to do that, I'm going to get help to do that. I mean, that's what Siege is, right? Like
This is how the game was originally designed, and what a lot of people loved about it when it first came out. Right? You'd flag up, start killing people because you won your spot. Then you'd run out of karma, and then you'd have, hey friends, come out here and help me get this noob off the spot, right? And then that would turn into a GVG, and that would turn into a guild rivalry. So then every time that someone from XYZ guild showed up, right? You'd be like, hey. Hey, come on, they're here at my spot. Come on, let's go teach them a lesson, right? That's what you did every single time. And now there's no incentive to do that because 1, the game world's huge. 2, the karma doesn't work, and you can't deck the guild half the time. Like all these systems don't work anymore in BDO. And I think a lot of people are coming from this. A lot of veteran players like Moreland and myself are coming from the spot of like, we want that to be back in the game where it was, because that was a lot more fun back then. And maybe we can't necessarily explain it in a way that would convince you. But I think most people would agree with like that.
To be able to buy pearls and die as many times as I fucking want to those guys that are trying to kill me while I'm waiting for my homies to show up.
Okay, this isn't constructive. Let's get back on topic here.
Yeah.
Also, I'm a veteran player too, Potion. Fuck you, kid.
Well, you weren't on our side, so I didn't
It
include
doesn't
you.
matter because I didn't play from the beginning. Like,
All right, so that was a divergence. Let's go into let's talk about the Heidel Ball.
So the Heidel Ball, what do you guys want to see from it? What do you guys want to see? Like what? Like
The video I submitted.
the video you submitted?
I submitted a video.
So for people who don't know, the Heidel Ball is usually an event that occurs once a year around this time, and they talk about what's up and coming in BDO, what we're going to be getting in Korea, on NA, in the foreseeable future. Last year it was the Ocean update, and I believe Shy. I think it was like the main things they talked about, and a few other like UI updates and stuff like that.
I want to see the progress report on climbing and pottery.
Oh, there's a
see, what else?
climbing mastery. That's right. You're supposed to like be able to leap or climb over walls or some bullshit.
Yeah, they're gonna make it part of Siege where you can climb up siege castles, and it'll be like a new way to get into a castle.
Boy, Zethian would have loved that.
that's actually.
But I mean, in all seriousness, I think we'll see the reveal of the new class, or at least more detail about it. So,
Male sword necromancer.
yeah, exactly, the male necromancer Sork. So I'm looking forward to that.
Male
What else?
necromancer.
They can't really reveal Odalita because that's already been revealed. Do you think they'll tease a new region that's coming at the end of the year?
I think they're going to reveal
God, I hope
the
not.
PvP mode that they didn't release with Order Leader originally. I think they're going to reveal that, and they're going to reveal a new Black Star armor piece. along with the new
I would
class.
love to see the next Blackstar armor piece, and I would love to know if it's going to have 2 versions or only 1 version. That's going to be huge for
I hope
every
there's
non-chess
2.
slot.
I hope there's 2. Yeah,
There's gotta
No,
be.
no. I hope there's 1. I hope it's
One.
all 1.
This
I-
one.
I
Unify.
want gear diversity because I feel like right now
Mm.
for years we've had
Not with the system, not with the way it's balanced.
Nah, dude.
but they can fix
One
that
we want
too.
one set.
They gotta fix the evasion and DR formulas if they're gonna make 2 different versions. They have to actually make DR viable. Right. The fact that an evasion build is best on Berserker is ridiculous. They can't keep scaling it that way. The higher that DR and evasion get, which is what happens with the Blackstar armor, everyone's gonna be C20 plus when we're all duo tribe Blackstar.
Yeah.
So evasion's gonna continue to get exponentially stronger, and DR is just gonna stay flat the entire time. It will not work. There's only going to be one solution. The DR will be a noob trap. They shouldn't even have a DR option unless they're going to fix it.
Well,
They'd have to.
So the thing I'm thinking about with it, right, is giving people free 200 AP, right? That obviously makes the best counter for a full AP build is an evasion build, right? The best counter for a evasion build is an accuracy build. So the worst build in the game by default is evasion because there's nothing. There's nothing it counters other than.
During Siege, you get an extra 5,000 HP, right?
Yeah, but that scales with both of them. So, I mean, it doesn't matter for DR or... it actually scales better with DR than it does with evasion, honestly.
Are you sure?
No, it definitely scales your evasion better because your evasion is a percentage reduction and your DR is flat. So the more HP you have, you're getting exponential amounts of effective HP from the percentage reduction that you get off of the evasion.
What he's saying is if you increase your accuracy and you decrease someone else's evasion, when that evasion is off the table, the weakest player in the game is someone with an evasion build. Like when I get hit with something that has with 700 plus accuracy or 700 plus evasion, 800 on my strike.
So I'll explain why that's also not true. Here's why that's not true. Because the way that DR plateaus, imagine, I don't remember exactly what the number is, but you have DR that scales like this until it gets to a certain point, and then it scales like this. So you can get here with an evasion build. There's enough DR on your evasion pieces, especially if you have Kaffir's levels, to where you get all the benefit of the DR build plus the benefit of the evasion build, and you don't give up anything.
Talking about finals.
I do feel like they need to fix that part of it.
Hold on, Potion. Let Joe talk. We can't hear him.
80 billion end game, super crazy end game DR. I'm talking about right now, my build, C9, C17, heave helmet. My evasion is way more than my DR. My DR is strong, but it's not there. When someone counteracts a large percentage of my evasion and they have accuracy, which makes it even worse, I'm a squishy target. Meiwas can shred me. Ninjas can shred me. This is reality. Right now, if I had a full DR build, that would be stronger against those classes than me with evasion versus a bad matchup. That's big facts. That's just the way that it is.
I feel like that's the exception, though, not the rule, right? Like, there's exceptions to everything. I think that's the exception to an evasion build being good.
That's what you said is the worst part about an evasion build is the fact that it's the weakest against accuracy, right?
Yeah, accuracy. Every build has a counter to it, and a natural counter to evasion is accuracy. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
In theory, there should be like a rock, paper, scissors where AP beats DR and DR beats accuracy beats evasion beats AP. But that's not how it actually works in practice, especially at the higher levels. DR just stops working, and you just melt people with DR builds. And evasion not only continues to work, it actually gains effectiveness as you get more of it. So DR's going like this, evasion's scaling like this.
Yes, that is the math, correct. But what I'm saying is DR is the alternative to PvP gear right now. So you're talking about players that want to go end game PvP. They've got evasion. They can do whatever they want with evasion. I'm not disagreeing that I don't think DR needs a rework. I think DR does need a rework. But there's a lot more effectiveness in this game. If you just want to go for PvE, you don't want a PvP. You got Uragons, you got Begs. That's
I don't
your
think
play.
that's true either. If you're full C9 evasion pieces, you're completely fine PvEing anywhere in this game. Again, you have enough DR to hit that plateau with that evasion gear. You're totally fine in PvE with evasion pieces.
You're talking about Sikria, you're talking about Abandoned Monastery, you're talking about Ash Forest. DR dramatically outperforms evasion in those places.
Yeah, it does, but it doesn't matter because you can get enough evasion where it doesn't
matter.
matter.
Evasion, you're totally fine.
Hold on. What are we talking about here? We're talking about the Heidel Ball. Okay, what do we want to see from the Heidel Ball? We can debate the evasion DR bullshit and all, correct each other for another 3 hours.
Talking about new Dead God pieces,
right?
I'm hoping that there's one piece, because if there's two, that I basically am trying to get bailed out of my shitty DR builds that I invested in before Big and Shiny did the actual work to show us what stats mean in this game, since the developers won't tell us. So I have Pen Griffins, Begs, and Uragons, and I feel like an idiot for having those pieces. And I want to be able to ascend those pieces into the new Black Star gear and just have it be done. I don't want to be stuck into the next tier of DR gear and get even further behind because I didn't spend 10,000 hours, running a statistical module of the game to figure out how these numbers actually work.
There we go. That's a constructive conversation. That's good.
Also, I hope that they give us the freedom, and I hope that maybe in the future, if they want us to have the difference or the option, they'll give us crystal slots, so they'll give us, the freedom to do it in whatever we want to our specifications. But I don't want there to be 2 pieces of Dead God armor. I want everyone to get one, consolidate Red Nose, consolidate Tree, consolidate, Griffin, Gaiath, flip it all into one thing, and then that's the major DP that we go for. I think it's going to make everything a lot easier for a lot of people.
So I see what Potion was getting at, right? Where you want to have some sort of, you don't want it to be you have these 4 pieces of gear and that's what it is. Where the game has largely been that, right? It's been back in the early days. It was Gaiath. It was True Spirit. Everybody memed on Red Nose, and that was the only gear option you had. And then it was Begs and Muskins. And then as time went on, we got some different boss gear, and then we all discovered, thanks to WTF Blue, that Pen Heave was actually really good because evasion actually works really well, and it was very strong for a large part of this game. And to consolidate that entire shitstorm of a 10-minute conversation we had, DR caps out. Huntler used a large word in my chat that I can't pronounce, but he's right. So DR caps, and then evasion just keeps scaling, and it's whatever that word he used was. So I'm kind of with Potion Shopper. I at least see where you're coming from, where Moreland is stuck with this gear decision, and I was in there too. I've sold Liebers twice and Begs 3 times, right? Just going back and forth, trying to keep up with what the meta was. And at some point, you just have to make a decision. Go, this game has no idea what the fuck it's doing. It's just going to shift metas, and maybe you keep a spare pair of Tets in the back or something like that. But I think having a little bit of decision in the Wugons and the Begs and all that kind of stuff, I think that adds a little bit of flavor to the game, where you just have Dead God, chest, and Black Star, feet, hands, head.
Well, that's not the case though, because
for the first 2 years of the game, there was that rock paper scissors game. It's only recently when the average PvPer has so much like good armor that pretty much everyone is hitting that DR plateau now. There's no longer a choice between the two. Evasion is just objectively better. But for a long time, we did have this trade-off. There was a huge trade-off of, evasion builds versus accuracy or whatever. Like there were actual meaningful choices you had to make between things like Uragons and Muskins once upon a time. But those things are just, once you get past pin armor and start Caffrasing your gear, just the choice disappears.
Well, there's two things that made this happen, right? One is they gave everybody free AP, right? So free AP, right, was the big thing. And then what pushed evasion this way was because then the Caffras levels, right? Caffras levels became viable. And those are the 2 things that truly pushed everybody into this current meta. And I think they can fix that by maybe reducing the effectiveness of Caffras and evasion, right? Or potentially reducing AP bracket scaling and giving us monster AP in some other way. Maybe it's a more complicated fix, but I think it's a better long-term fix, right? And then we can still have gear diversity, which I think is better for the game also. But I mean, anyway, it doesn't really matter too much. I think it's interesting conversation.
I think we need to just take a step back for 1 second here, because what we're talking about is the fucking top 1% of gear progression in the average PvPer of the top 1,000 out of 30,000 players that are playing this game. So if you want to, Full pen armor.
I think that's only 1% of players.
Just look at the price
Yes.
of pin Red Nose and
Chill for
pin
a sec,
Dimtree, right?
please.
And look at the price going
Please.
higher.
You're talking about consolidating the choice at the top 1% of the most progressed players in the game. Taking that one little bit of choice away is not ruining all armor up until that point. There's still gear choices that are made all the time. If you want to make a full build out of full DR, full evasion, accessories, choices, whatever, you still have that choice. But if you're talking about end-game competitive play, it's going to be X Dead God, yeah. But they're not going to just go for Dead God or nothing else. What are you going to use up till then? What are you going to use up to soft cap? What are you going to use in between then and there?
Blackstar.
So yes, you've got choices, but Blackstar is the PvE equivalent of the PvP. What would be CX whatever Urgons or Muskins up to that choice? So I do not think. Go ahead.
It kind of matters for those players. So it's pretty easy nowadays for even new players to get full tech gear. Would we agree on that? Like it's pretty normal for anyone who's
a month to 2 months
about
playing
PvP.
Yes.
So even at that point, if you have full TED armor and TED weapons, that plus all the free AP you get from journals and levels and everything else, like it almost doesn't even matter at that point if you're evasion or DR, because AP is outscaling your DP
AP is way stronger.
so well. Yeah. If you're at like, the 253 AP versus like 253 AP now is like, or 253 AP back then is like 265 now. There's just so many extra cheaper or free sources of AP that you can get. People in that gear range have way more damage than they did before. So it almost doesn't matter if you're evasion or DR at that point. The only time that DP starts to matter, starts to actually keep you alive, is when you get into the very top. And that's when, the only build that's the clearly better build becomes evasion. I think the solution is actually easy. We have an old formula that was designed to keep DR from bottoming out people's damage back when AP was lower across the board. The formula hasn't been changed in years. All they need to do is just raise that plateau so that DR, instead of bottoming out here, bottoms out up here. They put the limit so that you wouldn't literally hit someone for 1 damage because DR flattened out all their AP. But now that everyone's hitting harder, everyone has higher multipliers and higher AP and everything else, they just need to raise that so that you can get more value out of your DR.
I disagree, because what happens to evasion builds when you raise their DR?
Evasion builds are fine, man.
No, they don't. You just have stupid evasion and stronger DR. So you just buffed evasion even more if you make that change. So I understand what you're saying.
A little bit, yeah, but you buff DR way more than you buff evasion. Like evasion players might gain another.
Evasion players have DR. They have a shit ton of DR already.
I know. So that's what I'm saying. If evasion players gain another 20% effective health from this, I'm fine with that, as long as DR players gain 60% more effective health.
Okay. So
you know what I mean?
That's where I'm trying to come from, because the overall changes the balance between the two.
We'll have slower time to kill in general if a change like that goes through for both DR and evasion players, but DR players will get more value out of it. And, with how high everyone's AP is nowadays, I don't think slower time to kill is a bad thing for the game at any gear level.
I just don't have the knowledge, and I have no idea what that equation is going to look like. So how are you going to make DR 60% more effective for a full DR build and 20%
I'd like to
more
cap
effective
this
for an
conversation
evasion?
off if I could. I'd like to cap this conversation off.
Yeah, we can.
What sucks about this is the amount of effort and research it takes to find out this information, and it's weird that we have to have like some big open debate about all of this, right? It should just be transparent, top to bottom. But I really would like to stay on the topic of Heidel Ball and not DR versus evasion.
Yeah, for sure.
We're getting into a little too much juice here. And quite frankly, I'm not prepared to have a DR versus evasion build and what's better and how to fix it and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if any of us are super prepared for that. So maybe we save that topic for another week.
I'm ready.
Yo, fuck Heidel Ball. Let's go, baby. Yo,
I want the Heidel Ball to do something shocking that none of us expect.
Full frontal nudity. Full frontal nudity.
If they do anything, I hope that they actually take serious questions and don't just have like pre-screened nonsense. what's next? What color apples are going to be on the trees in Odalita? You know what I mean? Like some nonsense, role playing fucking nonsense question. I hope that they actually get juicy with it, because you're going to have an opportunity for, what is it, like every region in the game is going to be live in that one spot.
So the email I got told me to send in my most heated questions in
Did it really say that?
It really actually said that.
Oh,
damn, dude.
Okay. I've got a list.
So I just asked about a couple things with Siege. In my 1 minute video, I asked about if they have any plans on putting a cap on Mercs for Siege. If they feel that buffing HP was the best way to attack time to kill in the Siege scene, and are they considering a different approach to the wound mechanic of like when I forgot exactly how I worded it. It took me an hour to make a 1 minute video. I basically asked them to reconsider the wound mechanic, sticking with you after you streak a territory, right? Like, are you thinking about doing something else?
HP for Siege, not the wound, like actual BSR wound, yeah?
Right. So three topics, right? If they're going to have a Siege specific mechanic, which is now HP to extend time to kill, right? So that's separate from the wound mechanic that happens, right? So let's say they change it to a DR buff. Is there still going to be a DR nerf if you streak, and is it still going to follow you after you leave, right? So no, I don't think anybody really likes that mechanic at all. Like, if you're streaking currently, great, fine, cool. But once you get kicked off, you should probably just go back to normal, right? Like, that punishment is so fucking severe. So that was my third question. The second question is, you want to extend time to kill with Siege? Great, I'm with you on that. How do you feel about choosing HP with like witch heals and stuff? And then the first question was capping Mercs and Siege. So that's what I did. It was very respectful and polite. And, hi guys, Tim Allen 1337 here. So I didn't get my most heated questions like, hey, you think your publisher's doing a good job?
Oh, that would have been good.
Most heated, like,
you really should. You should say, hey, when are you going to fucking self-publish NAEU?
Well, we can all get in chat and say that during the stream or whatever.
Well, I'm excited then. I hope that some of the other players ask some good heated questions. I honestly just assumed that the questions would be, like meme questions, so I didn't even bother. But I wished, like, if I had known they were going to take it more seriously. We'll see, right? We'll see what questions they actually.
When is Tamer getting a new costume?
Oh my god!
With a guy wearing a Tamer costume.
I want them to announce underwater farming. Remember when they teased underwater farming?
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
Ocean farms.
It's not.
They were talking about hybrid. They were talking about combining life skills, where you could have like your fishing plus your farming and make fish farms.
Yep.
We need more.
If we had the freedom to do that, that'd be so sick.
Yeah,
that'd be so sick.
To answer the actual question, what I'd actually really like to see from the Heido Ball is what we didn't get from G-Star, which was any sort of information or long-term focus about BDO. And so whether it's this, that, or the other, what I want to see is that Pearl Abyss is dedicated to the vision within the next couple of years, because Crimson Desert is ostensibly a couple years out, right? So let's see you guys. Okay, look up the word.
Necessarily.
Look up the word. It could be possibly a couple years out. It could not be ostensibly.
They confirmed.
Ostensibly.
They confirmed
we're getting
their goal was a beta by the end of this year.
They confirmed that they were going to try to prepare to get ready to aim for an estimated confirmation.
That's still really soon, right?
And they're predicting.
My point is that even that assumption is still really, really soon, right?
In our last podcast, we said, is Pearl Abyss really inconsistent if they're always late?
Yeah, that's right. I said that.
You said that.
I think that we are all underestimating how quickly Crimson Desert's coming, by the way, just FYI.
Right. So what I want to see, though, is some clear and inspired focus on Black Desert Online that takes in anybody's opinion that matters at any level. Figure out who from the community that you value and start taking that opinion
I'm out
in a meaningful way. Just at least in a meaningful way, not like, hey, Bill Bob 728 says blah, and so the developers go, well, we have to do blah. It's just like, these are the group of people, even if it is the partners or a select group of partners or people that are outside of the partners that are just respected, because like I said last week, that playtesting this game in a large way is extraordinarily difficult. So that's what I want out of the Heido Ball. a vision for the next couple of years, year or two, whatever the case is, at least short term, and then some sort of announcement on how they're handling community feedback.
I'm all about that. I 100% agree. I think that there's a lot of people in this community that have great ideas, and we don't have the implementation. Like, we don't have the ability to say this is the way it needs to be. And just because I have a good idea doesn't mean it has to be my fucking idea that gets implemented into the fucking game. But some type of seriously transparent feedback loop is, it needs to happen. It's ridiculous. Like, you get, like, what is it? The indicator, popularity. Is it skill? Is it gear score? Like, what is the thing that makes someone's feedback more valid than somebody else's? You know, it's wild.
I don't care whose opinion they value or what the criteria is. It would just be nice that, and that's why I like Enlave working for Kakao. It'd be nice if he worked on the other side of it, but he still actively plays this game very heavily, and he was a content creator, whatever size, it doesn't matter, and he still actively plays this game. And so a lot of people cry, well, you guys don't play this game. It's overwhelmingly true, and it's nice to have Enlave there, kind of, you know, he's one of us a little bit. But it'd be nice if the PA-KG bridge was a little nicer.
I think the main thing is, like, I think they should be taking as much feedback as possible, and then they need to be able to know their game well enough to be able to decipher if that feedback is good or not, right? That's the problem right now.
It's proper census. So we've talked about this, Tim, and what needs to happen is there needs to be how many people are playing the game, how long have you played, what's your gear score, what's your level, what do you like to do in the game? And then when you give your feedback, it's coming from a player who's 530 gear score that does this and this and this and this. So feedback for that person and the things that they do is relevant to that person and that player's game. Someone who plays at the highest level should not be giving average player feedback. Someone who plays at average should not be giving high-end player feedback.
I kind of disagree with this, because I think that no matter what your experience with the game is, about 95% of the people who play this game should never be offering any feedback about it whatsoever.
Agreed.
Because they're just not game designers. Like, I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm not saying they're stupid or anything, but they just don't have good instincts when it comes to what makes a game good. Even if they think that they want something or that something would be better, they're just wrong. I think the developers
isn't invalid because they're not designers.
Like, I think the solution is that the devs simply need to play their game more rather than trying to do everything theoretically. They need more actual practice, like experience with their own game, and they should be designing from that. I think that's the main
in-house
problem.
testing. In-house.
Like, they need to be I don't think they test anything, but I don't even think a lot of these guys play the game, like, you know, in their spare time or whatever. I think that they go into the office, they design the game from like a armchair theoretical standpoint, and then they go home and they do something else. I don't think they really have a lot of actual player side experience with their game.
Yep.
Right. And that's all I'm trying to say is that they need that context. It's not that they need to, you know, take in X person, me or some BDO partner or something like that. But they, and Good Vibes is in my chat, and he says that there's an actual feedback loop in existence, but everybody memes it and doesn't take it seriously. Right.
Is he talking about the forums? Is he talking about the forums?
Well, there's the Discord, the feedback Discord as well, which has gotten some changes through.
That's been the library has been a very major failure, in my opinion. The number of things that they've said that they got into the game and then didn't actually get into the game because the developers changed their mind. It's just been really sad.
The library also presents a lot of data, but the data cannot be used. You can't use a lot of that data because you don't know who's, like, if you do a Guardian library right now, you know how many people who play non-Guardian classes are going to come in there and talk
good
shit
feedback,
in it?
I think, from the library. They actually do really, really good feedback. I do think they do good feedback.
Some of it.
Yeah.
I like this. We're finally seeing the dynamic between the four of us. We all have very different opinions. This is good.
Dude,
I like this.
Hey, man, the library asks good questions, but what they do with that data, it's different between having the data and having the data you need to make change. So like if you send out a Musa poll to all Musas, any X class, insert any X class. You think X class is going to say, I got too much damage. You need to nerf us.
Well, GVG says it doesn't matter. The only place that actually collects data en masse and presents it in a clear manner that PA listens to. So if you want real chances in quotes, then use it and push your agendas.
That's the only one that's out there. So
it's a good point.
Yep. So if you're playing Guardian and you want Guardian changes, maybe join the BDO library, because apparently And GVG used to work for Kakao Games. I trust him on his word with that. If PA listens to the library's feedback and you're not participating in it, then I don't know if you should talk shit about it.
I disagree. I disagree because it's really easy to see what the study is. Even if they're presenting feedback to Kakao, who is to say that library feedback isn't coming from some group of players that are trying to all get their own changes they want in the game made in? Like, who knows if that's even relative or relevant data? Who knows?
Well, it's the best shot you got.
That's kind of the point.
So I
Sorry,
mean,
Joe.
like, yeah, I mean, it's like I do agree that there's flaws with it, right? I bet it's the best shot that they have right now. It's the only system that they have up where the community can directly give feedback that will go directly to Kakao and get sent to Pearlbis. It's the only one that
I think that feedback comes from the 95% of players that shouldn't be giving feedback to this game in general, that Moreland just said, and that feedback is grossly inaccurate. And if you're talking about competitive players making competitive changes, or you're talking about casual players making casual changes, there needs to be a certain amount of discussion that's had at that level, a certain amount of discussion that's had at that level, and a certain amount of discussion that's had at the beginning.
Let's do this, Joe.
So
Let's do it.
maybe
Let's do
it's
it.
up to us as, sort of content creators or guild leaders or whatever to help guide the feedback in that
I
library
agree.
then and get the right things upvoted. Like, maybe it needs more leadership if we think that it's currently failing.
And that's exactly what
it just
GVG
needs more
said.
specifics. It just needs more specifics. They need to know where that feedback is coming from and how much weight that feedback carries, not just the amount of X feedback that they're getting. Because if you ask every new player, they're going to say, I want more gear, I want more free shit, I want more power, and I want to work less for it. That's going to be every single fucking player that plays this game that gives feedback. There's no doubt. That's every new player is going to say, everyone's too strong, I'm not strong enough, make me stronger for free. And that doesn't make this game better.
Okay. GVG says Joe's right, but it works best with more people. If there's a bad idea, it'll get no votes. If there's a good idea, it'll get votes, right? It's whose line, or not whose line, it's in any way. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, right? They'd all save the poll the audience, even though there'd be trolls in the poll the audience every once in a while. The collective knowledge is generally correct, right? Which doesn't necessarily translate to what we're talking about, but there's a little bit of wisdom in there. And so what I think we should do is I think the four of us should go and dive into the BDO library a little bit and maybe bring this up next week and have a better discussion about it, digging into it.
I think that's a great idea to understand how they're presenting feedback, how they're collecting feedback, and see if we can make that better. I agree. But
I'm
at
sure
the
between
same
the four of
time,
us, we could get good info too.
At the same time, I'm going to adamantly state that just because everybody thinks it's right doesn't mean that it's right for the game.
I've got two pieces of juice before we move on to other games, and let's go a little past 5 tonight, or 5 Eastern, maybe 5:15, because we went into some rabbit holes.
I'm down. Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, not too much longer. First, I want to talk about there's some day one BDO players who are BDO partners, just for a little juice here, and apparently they're atop of the directory in Twitch. You guys have any opinions on that? It's been blown up in my chat since I've been streaming for 4 hours.
Who is it?
Wait, what's happening?
We're not naming and shaming. We're just
we're not naming and
talking about
shaming.
it. So
We're just talking about it. How do you feel about a large streamer coming in as a BDO partner who's never played the game before?
I think that's fine.
Well, it doesn't matter who it is.
I don't think it matters.
BDO partner means nothing, so I don't care.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. I mean, if they want to have some deal or some communication with someone who streams another game and get them to come try BDO, and they have a partner label, I don't know.
Yeah, imagine if Summit 1G came back,
that much
right?
to begin with, but that doesn't particularly bother me.
Like imagine
Summit 1G wasn't a BDO partner.
Well, I mean, they didn't have the partner program at the time, but I mean, imagine he came back, right, and they partner him like right off the bat, right? I would be totally fine with that, right? Imagine they took any streamer, right, as a larger streamer, and partnered them, and then said, "Hey, your partner, please come in and like show them a good time." Like that's a sign of good faith. Like their community's going to get handouts for the game. Lots of new people getting into the game. I think overall that's a good thing. Overall, there may be this downside, but I can't see one.
Oh, so it turns out that it was a sponsorship, and it may have been mislabeled. She had a sponsorship to play the game, but it's still an interesting topic, right? Where it'd be interesting if you had a large streamer come in as a partner as a day one kind of thing. I don't know. It might be good. I think there's just a lack of direction and thought process through the BDO partner program. I don't want to dive too deep on it, but I thought that would be evidence of that, but if she just had a sponsorship,
It's a good topic for another day. For sure.
Probably.
I'll dive as deep as you want to go, baby. Let's go.
All right.
I'll go, dog. I'm not scared, yo.
Let's have some
Whoa.
juice. Let's have some juice next week, and let's talk about the partner
Okay,
program
all right.
next week. Let's do that next
Okay.
week.
Hell
And the
yeah,
last
hell yeah.
thing I want to talk about before we get into other games, and I have to go pee, but I know Marlon's going to want to start with this. What? I have to urinate. Reddit. I think Morlane wants to go on a little bit of a tangent about Reddit.
Very
So this
useful
will be
information
juicy.
posted on Reddit this week.
I'll be right back. I can hear you though.
Let's do this. This is perfect. I think we're all in agreement on this pretty much. So
Yeah. So somebody made a fake screenshot of Rotaz saying that the potion pieces aren't affected by loot scrolls, and Reddit lost their mind. They immediately didn't bother to even notice the fact that the date on the fake message was from before the potion even was put in the game. So it literally could not have been real. But even failing to notice that, didn't bother to check and like actually confirm the source of the message. Like they just saw a screenshot, and there was several threads on Reddit with hundreds of upvotes of people talking about how PA is scamming us and how we all deserve refunds, and there's gonna be a lawsuit and false advertising, and people just getting fired up over this actually completely obviously fake thing. And I just feel like that's such a good summary of the BDO subreddit, and I wish it wasn't like that. Can we change? Like, just everyone who's listening right now, can we try to be a little bit less gullible and like stop the spread of misinformation? I mean, I would think that nowadays people would be more skeptical in general, like in the post-truth
You'd hope.
era, you know, where
You'd
everything's
hope.
fake news. Like, don't you guys stop to think about things before you just upvote it hundreds of times and threaten lawsuits and like
Nope.
no,
what's
they
going
don't.
on?
Nope.
No, they don't. That's the answer.
I think the main thing with Reddit in particular is that basically everybody who's a part of the Reddit community has the same mindset. If you don't have the same mindset, then you get downvoted into oblivion and you get kicked off the platform, right? So like right now, the Black Desert Reddit community has been developed into this like really Pepega, like everybody just follows suit and upvotes the same thing. So if like it's like everybody's the same mentality. So anybody who's not the same mentality of Reddit right now doesn't have a home to go to, right? And I don't.
How is that different from the rest of the BDO community?
I think like
It's
I mean
not.
I think that
Not.
I think that a lot of people don't choose to participate in it, right? There's a lot of people who play BDO that just don't care for the memes and don't care for the drama, and they just don't go to Reddit. Like I know lots of people who say I just don't go to Reddit anymore, right? And
So do I.
Yeah.
and it's
So
like
do
I
I.
check on Reddit like once in a blue moon, but like I didn't even know this happened until like Moreland brought it up, you know?
But before Reddit, I led a pretty substantial WoW guild. And the worst thing for my mental health and for the health of my guild was going onto the forums. And that was right. That's the same idea, right? It's when Diablo 3 came out and they all wanted to change Diablo 3 on the forums as much as they possibly could, even though there was a glaring problem. But the game was dog shit from day one. And then when they made the changes that they needed to make, it was still dog shit. It's always dog shit. Wow, everything's dog shit. You're a shit guild. Everything's shit. Everything's shit. You're either part of that group or you're an outsider. And the amount of time and effort that it takes the amount of just like brain numbing idiocy, how much you have to turn your fucking brain off to be a part of that hive mind, to just not value your own opinion for some fake popularity because you're clicking the same button other people are clicking and you're typing the same thing other people are typing. You're hating the same people other people are hating without actually valuing your own intelligence, experience, or anything else, is just something that I don't care to check in on ever for any game for the 20 years I've been playing online games.
This loot scroll thing, like it brought it to a new level for me, man. Like I've always joked about how dumb Redditors are, but I went and made a satirical post on the subreddit where I literally, as I'm writing the post, I'm thinking to myself, what is something I can say that is so dumb and ridiculous that even
Nothing.
Redditors will understand that it's a joke? And so I wrote this absolutely ridiculous post that was clearly made up. Like no one should ever believe that it was real. And I'm thinking probably about 60% of the comments were people who were taking it dead fucking serious.
It's because it's on Reddit. It's on the internet. Why would anything be false? How could anything be false if it's on Reddit?
Rensler has a good
It's
point
on
about
Reddit.
that too, where he
Literally,
goes,
the
There's a-
end of the post was like how loot scrolls don't work on Sunday because it's the Sabbath and like you should be resting instead of grinding. And people
Lord's Day. It's the
were like,
Lord's Day,
how
right?
dare these devs inflict their religious beliefs on the players? This is completely unfair.
I don't know. Maybe they
I
actually
don't
know what
I don't know where
satire
to go
is.
from there. Like, is it redeemable? Can we have a better subreddit? Like, what do we do to make people?
I mean, we'd have to
grow
make a
more
new
brain
one
cells? Like,
and then be the mods of it. That'd be the only way. And then just ban people who are stupid. That's the only way you can have it.
Get a lot of. I've tried that before. Too much work.
It is a lot of work.
It's one of those things where, like, I think that when you come into an unknown territory, an unknown game, an unknown community, the motivation for most people is to be a part of more than to question and to create conflict for oneself. So when the pain of using your brain is more than the pain of, or less than the pain of just falling in line and echoing what everyone else says, you just get this massive group of players that goes, yeah, and just does that thing. And it's wild because there's certain situations that occur in this video game where if you just thought for a short period of time, you'd realize that this is clearly wrong, or this is clearly bad, or this is clearly hypocrisy, or whatever. And it's wild. It's really wild how people just fall down. They just roll in. They just don't question. They just keep on going because that's what everybody's doing. That's what the cool kids are doing. Their friends are doing.
So I think it's pretty similar to Twitch chat, except for with Twitch, there's somebody to kind of center around, right? There's people who watch each one of our streams. Majority of them, I try to do the best I can to, like, if somebody has an opposing opinion, to value that and kind of internalize it. But for the most part, the people that tune in the most amount of times have similar opinions or similar thought process as we do. But with Reddit and forums and stuff, it's all about being negative. And I think that's something that's incurable, that is the Twitch streamer of forums for the past 15, 20 years. That is the embodiment of what's popular there. And being unpopular is not popular. And nobody is spending an absorbent amount of time on the internet to not be popular or to be hated, except for maybe the four of us.
I like it.
Not that we're that unique, right? But I think it's a mindset that I don't think is
well, I think that's more human nature, right? It's like whenever you're at school, you
Right.
hang out with your people that don't pick fun at you, right? I think that's just, I think on the internet this amplifies that by the lowest common denominator, which is unfortunate in a lot of cases.
It's the call out culture. It's easier to hate everything and to be in the group of people that hate everything than in the people that are, the 3-person Apple club. We'll use apples again, right? Like, hey, we love baseball. Only baseball lovers can be part of our group. And then you've got people that hate everything else. It's obviously going to be a bigger group of people.
Mhm.
You can't win. There's all that group, that mob mentality. People are going to want to be a part of the group.
I
What you're
think
saying
groups
is
like that
Reddit
are
would
generally
be-
legal.
Reddit would be people who love baseball and hate everything else. That'd be what the subreddit would be called.
Yeah, there you go. But like, you can insert anything there, dude. We're fans of the color orange. Fuck orange. Fuck every other color, by the way. Like that's just the mentality.
Yeah, that
Easier to
makes
hate
sense.
everything.
Yeah, I think that.
I also
lines
think
up.
there's kind of a snowball effect too, though, and like I feel like we're seeing this in the BDO
yeah.
Siege scene as well, where if it wasn't always this toxic, right? Like you have moments in the game where there's a good amount of people who are not just constantly trying to shit on everything and stir up drama or post false information or whatever, and like the more that kind of stuff it becomes common, the more you're going to attract that type of person and push away people who don't like that stuff. And so then it snowballs because fewer and fewer people are going to interact positively. More and more people are going to interact negatively. And that just becomes like a feedback loop. And I feel like we're like years into that now, to the point where like the Siege scene is oh my, it's the most
rough.
like decrepit dog shit that it's ever been. The subreddit seems like it's in a worse state than ever. Like I feel like we're chasing away all the like thoughtful or interesting or even nice people who would be playing this game, and we're just left with
Tim Allen,
Us.
what we
me,
have
and
now.
Joe.
Damn, poaching right off with Tim Allen. His first word out of his mouth.
It's like that, huh?
T1 forever.
Oh man.
Love you, bro.
I don't think we're that bad either, dude. I don't think we're that bad, man. Fuck.
No.
Oh,
I think
We've just come full
But
circle now,
it-
right?
it's-
We're formed. That's all it is.
that's like the core of the social impact that this game has, Moreland. That's like in a nutshell. It's so insane to think about. Any player that's new, that's looking for X, has to go through so much toxicity and so much like of that mentality before they find community in the game. So it's like layers of nonsense that they've got to peel back to even find a decent community, because you're going to find nonsense on Reddit easily. You're going to find nonsense in world chat easily. And then, the people that refuse to be a part of that and stay stuck to their guns, they might find a decent group, but it's not the way in every other MMO that I've played.
Yeah,
You've got
I
little
mean,
clicks of toxicity, but damn, dude.
It's self-defeating to
Yeah.
some point as well, because like, okay, if you're one of the incumbent siege guilds and your goal is to make everyone who you don't like quit the game, well, eventually you're going to get what you wished for, and
Yeah.
then you're going to be playing the game by yourself. And that's why there's like 6 guilds left at siege in this game, and pretty soon there's probably going to be 5. Like, is that why do you want that? Are you trying to find a reason to quit the game? Like,
Just don't play. If you want to kill the game, just don't participate. Let other people play that want to play. It boggles the mind.
I think
It actually boggles the mind.
So I think 2 things. Number one, sometimes the worst thing you can do is give somebody what they ask for, right? And so I have a small strategy with that in mind. And then the other point I'd like to make is something that escaped me. So I think I'm going to move on. I forgot shit. Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say.
Thanks for telling us.
Well, let's move
That's
on to
nice.
the games then.
Yeah,
It's a good time for that.
Hell
So
yeah, dude.
first game is let's actually talk about Shadowring, because it kind of relates to BDO.
Shadowrun has dancing.
What?
Does it
It has dancing. Little river
right
dance.
now?
I can go and dance
is
in
that a river
Shadowring.
dance? Is that a river dance?
My river dance, yeah.
I think that's like
Can't see my
awkward.
legs. What do you want from me?
That's like awkward 16-year-old at a middle school dance or a high school dance.
That's my move. Yeah, that's where I learned it.
that's the move.
It's not a river
You
dance.
know that
for
one
years-
too?
for
Oh my
decades.
gosh!
Isn't the river dance the dance of your people? Or I'm thinking of Riverdale. Sorry, my bad. That was a
we
short
don't know
joke,
what
right?
we don't know what you're thinking.
So how is Shadowruna? How is Shadowruna? I've been
Laggy.
watching some people play it, but
It's laggy, man. There's more desync than there was in the final beta. I was really excited to play it, and had a couple good games, and then just got fed up with dying because of super armor not working, or because of somebody going invisible, or like it just. I don't know what they did, but it feels worse than the final beta. I think it needs a major. I think it needs a major patch of some kind. I was pretty bummed playing it yesterday.
that's too bad. Yeah, that's the.
I wish I wish I could say something else. Like, I've supported the game for a while. I want it to be successful. Like, I want the fact that they took it out of BDO and made a standalone game to pay off. And I've been trying to support them as much as I can in doing that. But I've got to say I was pretty disappointed yesterday with the way it performed.
Yeah,
I gotta
Well,
check
the-
it out. I haven't downloaded it yet.
they added Valkyrie, didn't they, for launch?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to play around with her. She's so they have 6 free champions and then 4 that you have to buy, and Valkyrie's one of the ones you have to buy. So there weren't a lot of people on day 1 that were using her.
Can you earn Valkyrie through gameplay?
Yeah. It's you can buy it for $10, or you can buy it with in-game silver.
It's
that you
like
get for,
Apex.
matches.
So
Yeah.
okay, so it's like Apex, League of Legends, and all that stuff. Cool.
So my opinion on it, because I played it a little bit off stream, and I'm going to play it
Mhm.
after Siege tonight on stream, is that the desync and lag, like Moreland was saying, is 100% correct. But that day 1 patch that they had, I was watching your stream, Moreland, when you're going through it. I think Pearl Abyss is laser focusedly dedicated to making Shadow Arena something great. And I think at its best, through the couple different versions that the three of us at least have played. I don't know if you've played it at all, Potion Shop.
Yeah, I have.
Okay, so the four of us have been various degrees of success, but I think what it does and it kind of fills for me, it fills a need that I didn't know existed, where it's just like, hey, I want RPG style PvP like that without having to grind gear or anything like that. You just jump in and you do the damn thing, and you can style on some kids because you have some experience playing the game or some knowledge of RPG MMOs in general. And I don't think I could play it for 5 to 10 hours, but I could definitely fuck with it for an hour or two, especially like I've done what I needed to do with BDO today, but I still want to play that style of game, but just clown on some kids. And I think it's like a really safe way to find some really good instant PvP. And I like the mechanic where you're instant rezzed within the first couple of minutes, because that's the worst part of Apex, right? You drop Skull Town or whatever, and he got a gun. I didn't get a gun. Fuck, And so the guy gets some skill points, right? Maybe you go to the other side of the map. So I think there's some real thought behind the game. I think there's a ton of potential, right? Especially if they intertwine, right? If they go, hey, if you play BDO and you link your Pearl Abyss account, to your Shadow Arena account or whatever the case is, we can give you some titles or maybe some cosmetics or something like that for playing each other, right? So if there's that cross, that eventually there's a ton of potential. And so Pearl Abyss keeps doing tournaments and streams and all this kind of stuff. I want to keep up. I want to be decent at the game because I think just professionally, I think it's going to be interesting and fun. But I don't know. I have a couple whiskeys and fucking clown on some kids with a class that I don't play in BDO.
How's the group play? Is the group play good?
I haven't done duos. It scares me.
It's only duos?
Yeah. The group play is fun. I think in the state that we've seen it up until release, because I haven't played it at release, I can't speak on release. The best thing I can imagine this is, let me get my friends together and let's play some games together. That's like the best case scenario for this. If I'm going to take this seriously, I'm going to play this like Apex. I'm going to play this like, Valorant or whatever. I don't know if that's going to be worth my time. I don't think it's like that either, dude. But I know that is the attempt, and the reason why they've decided to develop this game as a standalone game is because they believe that they can compete and they can attract a larger demographic of non-BDO players playing this fantasy-based VR. So
that guy Vero, though, that played the Ranger.
Oh yeah, dude.
That dude.
Those guys went ham. Yeah. Oh, dude. They put really they practiced so much for that tournament, dude. Oh, it was really cool. That was really cool. Those guys probably had to have put between 50 and 100 hours into matchups and knowing their class, how they were going to play in different situations, how they were going to capitalize off of other people's opportunities and then create opportunities for themselves. You can just watch from their screen how much better they were than the majority of everybody else who was in there. It was really cool to see.
You didn't like uninstall it or anything, Marlon, right? You're going to watch patch notes and keep trying it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I might even try it again before the patch. Like, I don't know if something's wrong with my internet, but man, it felt so much worse than the last beta. Like, every fight I got into, I felt like abilities weren't landing when they should. I was getting super armor abilities that were going on cooldown, but I was still getting knocked down. It felt like playing Awakened Warrior and BDO. It was the same shit.
So I'll tell you my tinfoil on this. All right, my tinfoil is they removed 2 servers from Olvia when they did Shadow Arena originally, and they never add them back. So I think they made a deal with Kakao to use the same servers for Shadow Arena again this time, and that's why they're so laggy. Is because now we have Orlito. There's more content in the game. The servers are lagging more, and they're using the same servers that they were using before for Shadow Arena. I don't think they have new servers.
That is a lot of tinfoil.
So somebody asked in my chat why Potion Shop is in this podcast, and I just want to point out, if that person's still here, that's exactly the reason. I love that. I love that point of view. I love it. I love it, man.
Yeah.
Enhancing's exploiting, and they're using Olvia too for sorry.
I mean,
I love you, man. I really do.
Oh, dude.
So let's dive into like actual non-Pearl Abyss developed other games. So we
Cool.
talked about New Worlds and Blue Protocol, and I kind of cut it short a little bit because I think we all needed to just watch some YouTube videos and stuff. And so I'd actually really like to start with Blue Protocol. We'll dive into Last Oasis as maybe kind of a last thing, since we're kind of continuing to follow that. Moreland streams it actively. I really was taken with Blue Protocol. And
Yeah,
I guess
man.
I talked to somebody at Pearl Abyss about this game, and they said that it's a ways out, especially for us Westerners. But there's a couple different games that are coming out like this, and it looks like a PvE fest in general. But the way it's done is like a Korean style. I think it's Korean. I'm sorry if I'm wrong about the nationality, but it looks like a Korean style grind game that really focuses on PvE. And the topic that we had last week was how little effort would need to be put into a game to put pressure on World of Warcraft, to put pressure on the rest of the game development community for MMOs to create better games. And I think Blue Protocol and those styles of anime games,
It's
whatever you want to
Japanese.
call it. Oh, it's Japanese. Okay, thank you. Those styles of games, it looked like WildStar to me, but like
Yes, dude.
a
Yeah, I was
well
about to
thought
say,
out
dude.
WildStar, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
think
that
it's,
excites
I think
me.
it's,
I loved WildStar.
I think what's
One-
really
one
cool
of the-
about it is like it's a new niche, right? Like BDO is action RPG MMO, right? The anime MMO is a whole nother niche genre that is not capitalized on, and even if it's not your type of thing, I think it's a big market for it.
Art style is one thing. So I think that, like, if we're gonna take this to the real discussion for me personally, like, I follow this shit like crazy, dude. I watch all the games. I try to pay attention to see what the next thing is gonna be, and I
Moreland's
don't
watching
think
it right now trying to catch
Yeah.
up.
Oh yeah.
Look at his face.
If you talk about the nature and the business of MMOs as it is right now, there will be no developer that has the money to create and devote and invest into competing with Blizzard or Square Enix or Bethesda or whoever else you want to throw into that.
Sure.
that
There's a big
arena.
developer behind it. Who is doing
Well,
Blue
and-
Protocol? But
Bandai
BP.
Konami or something like that, right?
Bandai, yeah. So that's good. But what I see with this game is what I hope that we see more development on in more games in the future, and that is not one game that's good at everything, but one game that's really badass at one thing. And if that's what this game is about, if I can do 4-player dungeons and dungeons by myself solo, and this is the only game I can really have a lot of fun with that in, I'm all about it, because that guarantees a buy for me as an MMO player, dude. I'm all about it. The game's graphic style looks nasty. The gameplay looks really fun, and I can play with my friends. And that's got a buy written all over it for me, dude. I'm all over it.
Excuse me, it's Bandai Namco. I said it wrong.
Bandai. There you go. Yep. Yeah, I think playing with your friends is great as long as they show up.
True.
Ice. Oh my god.
Monday.
Yikes, dude. I'm sorry, bro. Okay, this Monday. I'll be there.
Yeah. Bring a grill. So New World, I took a look at that New World video and a couple other New World videos. It looks like ESO fucked Black Desert Online, and that baby was born early. It does not look good.
Oh, good God.
All right, so I
So
on
have you seen,
New
like,
World.
recent gameplay. Has anyone played it since the last couple months?
What's wild too is that in the places that New World has released footage from alpha and early alpha and late alpha, the footage that players had put onto YouTube was very different than like the cinematic storytelling version of the game that's supposed to come out. It's like, I know you said this last time or whatever. It was like the pre-alpha footage that I watched was like sieging a castle. And that's what I expected. I thought that game was going to be all about. And then I saw the trailer, the cinematic to it. And I was completely confused. I had no idea what kind of game I was going to be playing.
So I literally did a whole day research on this because I decided I just got wound up in it because the more I dug into it, the more I was interested in it.
Yeah,
so
dude, this game's got you written all over it, dude.
I'm 100%
I
into
know.
it. So
Yeah.
basically, they have 4 different races. They have like an undead race. They have basically magic power, and basically that magic power is called Azeroth, and it keeps everything alive in this world. And it's basically the entire lore that's in this game. So nothing dies on it ever because this magic power Azeroth is in everything, right? So Azeroth has a good nature, which makes like plants come alive, and like you have these plant type creatures, and then you have it also makes corrupts people as well, and you have like an evil version of it, right? So there's like 2 different versions of the same thing. the end game is going to be right now, I think, a little weak. But they have basically war, where it's going to be like node wars and BDO, 50v50. Some of the rules I'm not 100% clear on, but 50v50, basically you have a company and your company claims a set of, like a node in BDO, right? And then you hold that, and people can settle there. You can upgrade it.
Azoth, not Azeroth. Azoth.
Yeah, so you can actually upgrade the node, so you can get housing there, and your housing has furniture buffs like BDO does. And then you can decorate it just like BDO. There's some life skilling. I think life skilling is pretty low key, not as good as BDO's. I don't know. I think it's interesting, and they also have.
I don't think it's that close to BDO. Like, you're comparing it to BDO a lot. I don't think that it has that much in common with
it looks like ESO. It looks like ESO to me. It feels and looks like ESO to me, but it looks like a really good first attempt at making a MMO, right? That's what it looks like to me. It's like,
so here's I know what I can tell you guys about what New World was 6 months ago. I don't know what it's been since then, but for most of the game's alpha, it was an open world PvP game with Dark Souls combat.
Yeah.
There was like all the melee stuff was literally taken almost frame for frame from Dark Souls, like broadswords and stuff. There's also guns that you can use, which are like
rifles,
old style. Yeah, they're not
matchlocks and shit.
No machine guns or anything, but yeah, there's some range damage you can do as well. You could kill people. There was some looting that was going on. I think if you were like a murderer player, you would lose more of your gear, and if you were a blue player, then you would lose less of your gear or none of your gear or something. So there was like kind of different looting roles depending on who you were fighting or why you were fighting. But they've since like completely moved away from all the non-consensual PvP in the game, and they've said that they want all player killing to be, or they've said they don't want to allow player killing. They only want opt-in PvP.
Yeah, and so that was, I think, a situation that occurred from the pre-alpha.
What an Amazon thing!
There was a crazy amount of bullying and like unbelievable amount of griefing that went on in the pre-alpha, and they're just like, we can't have this in the game. Like that's what I heard.
Non-consensual PvP, not at Amazon.
I want to explain what they did for the for PvP, right? So, like you said, you have to flag up for it. If both people aren't flagged up, then you can't PvP, right? There's 3 factions in the game, and then basically in a settlement, you take in a settlement you take up missions, and these missions, some of them are go scout an area for PvP, right? And so if your faction and someone else in the same faction goes and scouts the same area, you'll go and run into them, and you'll go have to fight them, right? And so this is going to automatically create PvP. And if you unflag for PvP, because you're automatically flagged for PvP as soon as you take this mission, and if you unflag, you automatically abandon the mission instantaneously. And I think right now this is probably at its infancy, but later on this could be going as far as in a dungeon. So while running this dungeon, you have to be permaflagged for this dungeon. But like anyway, that's the kind of the idea they're going for, is that
it's a fundamentally different game now. My problem with all of this is like, okay, opt-in PvP, fine. Like World of Warcraft Battlegrounds, that's awesome for World of Warcraft. That's not what I wanted from New World. I wanted New World to be an open world, dangerous game where my company had to control land because it was dangerous and hard to do that. And if we had Care Bear gatherers who didn't want to PvP, I wanted to be responsible for protecting them and giving them a reason to gather for us instead of for someone else. Now the game's completely safe and you just go off and PvP on some other map when you want to. That's a fundamentally different game.
Yeah, I do agree.
And you know why? So this goes back to what we talked about last week, is that I don't think these developers have the experience or the backbone to go, this is the vision of the game that we want to create. They're going, we're playing this game and we want it to be different. We want it to be different. And they're going, oh shit, okay, well, we got to make it different. That I want goddamn game unapologetically.
It's so tough, dude. Because I think that what they're doing is they say we want to make this game, and then somebody else is saying, but that game's not going to make money.
I think the problem is
casuals aren't going to play that game.
Peers who went too hard in the alpha and they didn't know how to rein those people in, and so they just turned it off.
So just took it out.
Kill them all. Yeah, so what a great
what
idea.
They've done with combat now is you get to choose 2 weapons. You get to choose 2 weapons in combat now. So let's say you choose a dagger. If you choose a dagger, you can choose up to 3 abilities from either a dagger or maybe your second weapon is a sword, right? So then you can choose up to 3 abilities. Maybe 1 is for a dagger and 2 of them are for the sword. And so you can kind of like customize your build as you go forward. the entire game is built around playing with multiple people, at least 2, in almost every situation, up to I think 5. You can do things solo, but it's like the amount of content you can't do all the content solo. You can only do maybe, I don't know. We'll say I'm just pick an number out of the air. Maybe 50% of the content is solo, right? And so
I mean, the building is basically like a safe zone tree chopping simulator now, right? Like if you want to build up your village.
Yeah,
That's the survival. The rocks with rocks. Let me hit all these rocks with rocks and make more rocks.
So I think the main thing that
So
they're going to struggle
disappointed.
with is what you're going to do outside of war, what you're going to do outside of, like, are you just going to chop trees all day long or kill monsters at one spot and like do fetch missions over and over and over and over again? Like, I feel like what's going to happen in between their like monster invasions and wars and stuff like that, you know? So I don't know. I have a video that's going to I'm going to come out and explain it because bro, it is the most convoluted process. I spent literally all day trying to figure out what was going on with it. It's super super complicated. So I'll boil it down a little bit in a video, and maybe we can watch that and then come back to it next week.
I can't wait to see that.
On one hand, we have Black Desert Online, who puts their developers in a soundproof box, and on the other hand, we have new emerging genres, games, developers, whatever you want to call them, that have no idea what the fuck they're doing, and so they're relying on people screaming the loudest to destroy the vision of their game. Imagine if we found a porridge that was just right. Imagine if
It's the same. It's the same thing that happened with Legends of Aria. It's like if you're going to make an open world PvP game, you need to expect that a large portion of the people who play your game are Care Bears from WoW who are going to cry when they die and lose. Like,
Make the game expensive.
Nuke the whole game.
Yeah.
Well, you either make the game expensive or you have a good monetization. The business side of it is so goddamn important. I wanted Shadow Arena to be free to play because I don't want to have to spend $29. I want to have fun with it and then go, hey, I'm really enjoying playing Schultz. I want to look fucking cool when I style on some kid. And I think that's a really good way to monetize a game. And that's why, bringing back from last week, Star Wars Galaxies will never exist. There's no way to monetize a game that is that fucking great. $15 a month just won't do it because it's too weird for these fucking WoW brainlets that just, how do I tab target? I can't tab target something. So then you have to find the people that have the fuck you money month and month, right? That find enjoyment. And it's not that we all play BDO and we all spend more money than we all want to really care to admit to it, because it's monetized well. There's pay to win, right? Outside of the pay to win, right? You just go, here's a new costume. I want to wear this costume because I like styling on people on my Witch or Guardian or whatever the case is. And I think that's the future. And you need to create video games around that, not catering to trying to be the next WoW, because WoW is dead. Okay, that's the statement. WoW is actually dead and it's being fucked. I know. It's dead, but it's being propped up. And the second that somebody kicks that still out from underneath, it falls over. The Lord God dies, and we can move on.
People are playing WoW just waiting for another game. That's what they're doing.
That's the crazy thing with WoW is that WoW is the biggest dead MMO in the world.
Somebody needs to
play that
actively
game than
kill it.
anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing: is now what is the business and what is the gameplay loop that is going to allow that to happen? Is it going to be many small games that are all niche in one little aspect, or is it going to be something with a huge developer that has the balls to create something that we all want to play more than that? So I
think it's the former.
I agree. I agree 100%. I think we're going to see all of these little niche MMOs that are good at one thing, and we're going to play all of them instead of just playing one game that's got everything in it. I think that there is the point to touch on the point that you made. I think that that's one of the biggest missed opportunities in this business is the highest possible barrier for entry monetarily. Like a game that had $100 a month sub, that was exactly what that person wanted it to be in the highest end competition. And you could only play it if you paid that fucking sub, where you didn't have to, the people that were going into that adventure were all paying for their fucking ticket, and they knew what they wanted, and they knew that they were playing that goddamn game. And
you were invested into it.
Yeah, dude. Like,
yeah,
it's worth it. Quality of life to get that exact game that they want, to be able to have that feedback and know that it's going somewhere. Like, I really think that there's an incredible market for that type of an MMO, and no one has the balls to do it, because it's just,
Just expensive.
It's wild. Yeah,
That's why New World
man.
was such a disappointment, because it was finally it was a triple A sandbox MMO. We haven't had that since I don't even like Star Wars
haven't.
Galaxy. When was the
We
last time
haven't
we
had
had a
it.
triple A sandbox? There's been indie MMOs, but like it was
Final
finally
Fantasy
after
14.
more than a decade. Like we were going to have a triple A sandbox game, and
What,
now
New World?
it's
Are you talking
just
about
like
New
they're
World?
just diluting it again.
Yeah.
It was the biggest reason why I've been excited and interested in encouraging people to check this game out is merely because of the competition that Amazon could present against the other the main staples of the MMO industry right now. Because the second you've got a company that is able to compete against a Blizzard or against a Square Enix, it's going to scare them because they're going to take those players away. It's just inevitable. The second they lose players, they got to change.
If anybody could take a monetization L for the short term for a long-term gain, it'd be Jeff Bezos.
It's Amazon. It's Jeff Bezos, dude. World's first trillionaire, bro. Come on, man. 2026. Oh my God.
So find your fucking spine, kid. Like, Jesus Christ. You want to make a fucking video game? Make a fucking video game.
It is disappointing. I still have a lot of hope for it, and I am excited for it because I think that if the story itself works, if it's above the BDO story, obviously, you know what I mean? You can't really go that much. You can't lose there. If it's got a good story and it's got some good gameplay, I think that they will find a way to, even if it is consensual PvP, they'll find a way to put good PvP into the game. It's not the way that I want it, which doesn't mean that it's going to be terrible, but it just isn't exactly what I dreamed. And when I heard of that game, I dreamed of a environment that sounded pretty damn perfect on paper. So, it's wild, dude. It's wild.
Hey,
I don't
Joe.
think we're gonna. Yeah, go ahead.
I see you at your grind spot. Would you like to PvP?
No, thank you. I'm just grinding today. Thank you, good sir. See you later.
Oh, I'd really like to PvP. Are you sure? I guess I'll go somewhere else. Thanks for talking with me.
I'd love to play this game, but hey, no thank you. See ya.
Fucking stupid idea. If PA ignores Tim, I'm pretty sure Jeff Bezos will too. Yeah. Counting on both of those things, honestly.
Until he calls him kid, though. Once he calls him kid, he's got to.
Yeah, I called you kid, Jeff. Man up. Add me on Twitter. You subtweeting bitch. Sorry.
In other news, Florida man calls out Jeff Bezos.
Cannot be found.
Well, on a positive note, I know I mentioned it last week, but Last Oasis continues to surprise me. Like, as far as a game that is an open world sandbox MMO with PvP and consequences and emergent, social dynamics and everything else, it has it, man. Like the shit that we got into this week with the new iron technology that came out, the politics. I almost accidentally started a war yesterday because I rammed this guy's iron node when I wasn't paying attention, and there was like hundreds of people that were ready to go to war because of it. It was pretty weird. We had one of our guys got raided, and we ended up bringing like 3 warships to defend him, and it turned into this like 35-minute brawl where we're just like slaughtering each other across the sand and firing ballistas and catapults, and like it worked pretty well, man. There wasn't a lot of lag. Like, your swings were landing, you were able to loot gear and like run back and deposit on your ship and go out for more. It's what I'm looking for, man. Like, the game, it just continues to get better.
Isn't that a cool thing too, when like these games that we think are going to be something in our minds change? Doesn't it like shift the focus towards what's actually out there right now? Like, doesn't that just make Last Oasis a much more appealing environment now because that doesn't exist in New World?
Yeah, well, and I mean, I always like kind of thought that it was going to be some like random indie game that did this, since all the AAA studios are too afraid. I had no idea it was going to be this one though, like a desert survival MMO. I thought it was just going to be another Rust or something. You know what I mean? So this game has really just come out of nowhere and just seized my attention. I'm really enjoying it.
So, what's the pain of entry to this game, right? How long does it take to get set up and play with you directly, right where you are, and the amount of time you've invested?
So we have a pretty established guild. So I mean, it's kind of depends on who you know. If you're soloing and you want to like get good gear, it's going to take you a while because everything's going to be dangerous. You're going to have to figure out where you can go, where you're not going to get ganked, et cetera, et cetera. If you have a good group of people that you're playing with, you're ready for the large scale fights right away. They can give you gear, they can give you water, they put you on a ship, you fire a few ballista shots, and then you hop off and do some ground combat. Like you can do that on a brand new character.
They can give me gear.
Yeah. So your character levels up. So as far as like your damage and your health stats, you'll be lower than other people.
Oh, okay.
But the leveling doesn't take too long. You can level up. You level up through crafting or combat or anything in the game levels you up. And even if you're on a lower level character, you'll be at a disadvantage. You won't hit as hard, and you won't have as big of a health pool. But the way the game has like blocking, it's got like the Mountain Blade style directional attacks and blocks. So even if someone has better gear than you can still block their attacks.
There's a skill level to the
skill ceiling. Crazy, dude. There's people that fight like 2 versus 40, and they're just mowing people down on the ground, like blocking, stabbing, ranging everything perfectly. There's a grappling hook. Have you seen the grappling hook, dude? If you're fighting in the trees, you can shoot your grappling hook at the trees and swing like Tarzan and like land somewhere else, style on some dude, grab his body, grapple a tree, carry his loot away, deposit it somewhere else where his friends can't like kill you while you're looting him. There's some insane like 1vx potential in this game.
Dude, that's wild. If me and Potion and Tim, or me and Tim and Potion's playing New World or making videos,
you won't.
How quickly it'll show up at the last minute. How quickly can we catch up, like grind wise?
It just depends on what you want to do. If you're trying to build like a huge ship or something, it's going to take you a while. If you're just trying to hop onto the guild ship and join the fights, like it's just who you know. If you get into the guild, you're in the guild. Like you're ready.
All right, so when I already got to start in this. I already got to start in the game. So when are we joining up, Tim and Joe? When are we going to stream this?
Yeah, dude, I'm about to say let's set a schedule right now. Like I'm not playing around. I'm ready to commit.
We can do like a squad stream where we just like you guys get some starter ships built, and I kind of show you the best places to get resources. I can talk to my guildies and see about getting you guys into the clan. It's really not that hard to get going.
I'm totally down, dude. The second you started talking about this game 2 weeks ago, I was like, yo, there's something here. And every time you talk about it, I'm like, I just got to play. I got the game downloaded. I bought it already.
So maybe just live on this, can we all fuck around with this game on our own over the weekend, and then maybe Tuesday pick a time?
I'm in, dude.
It's a good time.
I think Tuesday's the perfect day. I was about
we
to
could
say.
squad stream some shit,
Yo, Sounds
good, man.
Go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Let me know what time, and I'll be there.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in the Discord. Is there any other? We're getting to 2 hours and 15 minutes. Is there anything else we'd like to bring up or talk about here? We went through a couple of rabbit holes, brought up a little bit of juice.
I think
I'm glad we all have webcams. This has been way more fun with webcams on this.
Yeah, for sure. I think the only other thing would be Greymore. Yeah, real quick, Greymore.
Yeah, how's the update for ESO?
Oh, ESO.
Yeah, so the Greymore update comes out on Tuesday. It's the next expansion, and it's the Western Snow Zone. It's finally like this badass snow winter wonderland, and there's like a vampire badass enemy in there.
Have you played a lot of ESO, Joe?
I've played a lot of ESO on PS4, and then the last time I played was the Morrowind. I got a chance to play the PTS. Bethesda invited me to do that for the last round, and I didn't play elsewhere, but they asked me to again, or I'm gonna do the ESO stream on Tuesday, which is cool. So it's a fun game. It's just for me, like I can't live in that game. It's the analogy I make is ESO is like that's the entire battle system. Like you have 5 abilities, 2 ults, 2 weapons, and you spec your shit out and you go for crazy champion levels. But
I took a sabbatical mid-year for some personal reasons, and I sat on a couch and played ESO for about 10 days.
Yeah.
And I think Morrowind was the last expansion that was like within $15 or something. And I played that, when it came. The soundtrack, the immersion, just playing it by yourself, it was so worth. Dude, I don't know about the high-end gameplay or anything like that. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. It looked interesting and fun, but it didn't seem quite my speed. I was talking to Ryu the Red was playing a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I was talking to him about builds and stuff. And I was thinking about it, but I think BDO's jaded me in a couple different ways to make it hard for me to really dive into that outside of that single player, but also multiplayer. It was more interesting to kind of go back to that world and see other people enjoying it. And I got into some PvP battles. It was fun. It felt Guild Wars 2-y, but not that that's a bad thing. But it's interesting that the ESO has ESO's been like lawn. It's been a fucking roller coaster for ESO, man.
Well, dude, they have an incredibly large fan base that people don't really pay attention to or respect because it's not a lot of people watch it on Twitch either. You know what I mean? It's just this game that tons of people play because there's a huge following from Oblivion and you know Skyrim and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Have you got a chance to play it at all, Morlan? Have you ever played a lot of ESO?
No, it had that really bad launch, and so I kind of stayed away from it.
Yeah,
And
it
then,
did.
After it launched, One Tamriel basically brought the whole world together into the game that it kind of should have been from launch, which allowed you to level up based off of your character's level in anywhere in the world instead of having to travel to that location to grind in the right spot. So the thing that I admire a lot about ESO is the same thing that you just talked about, Tim, is the immersion of playing an Elder Scrolls game with voice acting with 3 or 5 different. Dude,
Yes.
the voice acting is incredible.
So
The
good.
humor, the comedy in it, like the characters, it all feels real. The world feels alive, and that gives you a ton of hours of gameplay. There are cool dungeons in it. There's cool raiding, and you know, Cyrodiil is some of the best PvP that I've got a chance to play in any MMO. For you know, the large scale sieging castles, it's really fun, but it's not like the return on it and the like livability to play that game for a year. It doesn't have the same type of I don't have the same enjoyment. I don't get the same enjoyment out of it as I do BDO. But to check out the new stuff is always going to be cool.
Yeah, I think it's just hard for me to go back and play a game that I didn't play early on. Like if the game's already been out for several years,
I hear that.
I feel like I'm not going to invest several more years into it at that point. So I kind of just never get started. So like, especially if it's a theme park game, I'm kind of open to new games that are coming out, but I just can't really motivate myself to go back and play something like ESO.
For sure.
So I want to go back to Last Oasis real quick before we wrap this up. Have you reached out to anybody at the company that I don't know who the developer is or group of people, Morlan, to have some sort of like for business contacts or anything? Or what are they doing for Twitch? Because that's an important part of a new game's health is how they interact with content creators.
So they seem to be aware that that streaming the game is a big thing. They have like streamer
okay, they know what
modes
Twitch
built.
is. Cool.
Yeah, they have functions built in the game that will do things like hide your map and change the names of tiles so that people can't see what screen you're on. So that they have some stuff that kind of prevents stream sniping. So they seem to be at least aware that Twitch is there. I haven't talked to any of them about it directly, though. I don't know much about the company who makes the game. It's probably something I should look into.
I heard that the regular streamers, people that are streaming that game regularly, are getting destroyed. Like they're getting hunted, and it's like the most fun thing in the world is people finding streamers because it's so hard to find them. it's like
they really have to like leak their location.
Oh yeah,
you can find streamers based if they're PvPing because you can tell by who they're like what guilds they're attacking. You can look at the world map and say, okay, well this guild's located here, and then you can kind of narrow it down. But if they're fighting a Zerg guild that's got like 20 different maps, there's no way you're going to know which one of those maps they're on unless you know someone in the guild. So it's kind of stream sniping has its limits. It just depends on what you're doing in the game.
Is it as frustrating being stream sniped in that game as it is BDO?
I haven't gotten stream sniped at all. But part of that is the fact that, especially with the clan I'm in now, it would be pretty hard to do so. Like even if I get jumped out of nowhere on one of our home tiles, the boys are going to come defend me. And if I'm not on a home tile, if I'm somewhere else and I'm raiding, I don't care if I get streamed. Like I'm out looking for PvP.
Yeah, you want that to happen.
Like, show up and bring as many. Yeah, it's fine. So like, there's definitely situations if you were like a solo player and somebody rolled up and stream snipe you, that would suck because they could take your shit and like you couldn't hide it because they would know exactly where you were putting it. But if you just don't put yourself in those situations while you're streaming,
So there's been a lot of controversy and content over you playing Last Oasis. Somebody at chat's going, ask Morlan why it isn't like girls in Last Oasis, and I've heard you on your streams.
He has a whole mafia group after him.
there's a lot of content around you and Last Oasis, man.
Yeah, there's a clan that's very upset at me for being an evil, misogynistic woman hater.
This is the juice, dude. That's the juice.
I mean, so basically, I did a 24-hour Last Oasis stream. It was my second day playing the game. None of us had any idea what we were doing. There was this girl, and the game has in-game voice chat, and there was this girl who was like ramming her ship into the mob camp that I was farming, and I didn't understand why, so I like walked over to her and I was like, hey, what are you doing? And she was just super like bitchy in response, and so I was like, okay, well, we're gonna kill her. And a bunch of her, like, she's in a really established guild, and her friends showed up and just beat our asses and burned all of our stuff to the ground.
Her simps killed you?
Yeah. Well, that's the problem is, like, so I'm in voice chat with some of the other guys, and D-Mike at one point called them white knights. And from there, it just spiraled into this thing where they were saying that, like, I claimed that all women deserve to be raped, and like literally because D-Mike called them white knights, dude. It just went 0 to 100. They sent me this like 5-paragraph essay on Twitch about how I was going to get banned, and like, I can't talk about women like that. I didn't even say a single fucking thing. D-Mike made one like salty joke about getting killed by white knights, and now it's like I'm trying to get canceled out here by this last Oasis guild.
Yikes, dude.
Yikes.
Bro, I'm looking forward to Tuesday. Looking forward to Tuesday and getting some more Last Oasis in.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
The shit talk in that game is next level. Like the shit that Chinese people will say about your mother, it is amazing. The in game voice is top notch, dude. You're gonna hear some amazing one-liners.
Do we have to worry about that? Like, are people gonna say wild shit that I'm gonna get banned over?
Nothing. I mean, there hasn't been any like N-bombs or anything, but there's a mute button if someone does get out of control, and then I'm sure they'll get banned from. But no one wants to risk their account, So probably.
Okay.
So I think the real question we're all wondering is, why do you hate women, Marlon?
If I see a girl in a video game, it throws me into a violent rage. I have to beat her with a club and take her things, and I can't help myself. I don't have an explanation.
All right, with that, let's wrap
That's
up.
how you really feel, man.
With that, let's wrap up for the podcast. Tim, can you close us?
Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning into what was the second episode of Nerd and Words. Joe, thank you for wearing as little clothes as possible. We definitely need the sex appeal. Can you give us a nice flex for France, please? There you go.
Right. Look at the crab claw, dude. Look at the claw. Look at the crab claw, dude. I work on that thing. Look at that. Ooh, baby.
This is the first time you've collaborated with other video streamers, right?
Yes, it is. Yes,
yeah, we can tell. That's fine.
Yeah.
So, Joe, what do you got going on? Plug your shit.
If you guys liked what you heard out of my damn mouth on the end of the top of this beard, you can catch me at twitch.tv/JoeNeverFails Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I stream mainly MMO content focused in the world of Black Desert Online. At the moment, this Tuesday, I'll be on the front page of Twitch playing Elder Scrolls Online, the Greymoor, the Greymoor expansion. Thank you, dudes. I'm excited for it. And you can catch me on Twitter at JoeNeverFails and Instagram at JoeNeverFails.
Very nice.
Moreland TV on everything, streaming Black Desert about half the time right now, and other games the other half the time. Good amount of Last Oasis. Might be branching out to some other games as well. So who knows?
Potion.
All right, so I'm Potion Shop. I am currently been in the process of moving, so not been streaming a whole lot. Next week, I'm planning to try to go for the infinite HP pot in a single week. I'm just going to grind like 100 hours in a week, try to knock it out.
Man.
So we'll see if that happens.
Good luck, dude.
But we're starting that right after the
adorable.
patch. Right after the patch, I'm gonna wake up, go ham. So look forward to seeing you guys there.
Hell yeah, dude.
And I'm Tim
Good
Allen.
luck, man. That's wild. That's wild. Sorry, Tim.
I'm Tim Allen 1337.
Hey, I'm Potion Shop. All right, you have my permission to continue. I'm sorry. I went too far.
You've been in Aftershock too long. I'm Tim Allen 1337. I'm the guild leader of Aftershock, Siege Guild. I've done the Siege podcast for over 2 years. I don't want to talk about that. What I'm working on currently is this podcast is probably my biggest and sole focus. I really enjoy this and the three people that are working on it with me. So I want to thank you guys collectively and individually. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can catch me on Twitter and my Discord. They're both Tamalin1337. I'm very active on both and would appreciate follows in my Twitch and joining those social medias of mine. I'm very selective and focused on what I choose to interact on. But we do this every Saturday, 12 Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you guys have suggestions in topics, I'm going to make a Discord channel in my personal Discord. We're not going to make this Discord public because that'll turn into a shit show. That's
It's a good
other
call.
people can do that. Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
be the four of us here. So if you want to join my Discord, Big Bad Nips or Utterly Demented, whatever the fuck he's going by this week, is going to make a channel so you guys can ask questions. I think, how many of you are going to upload this to YouTube? I'm going to.
Yep, it'll be up on
Ocean.
YouTube tomorrow.
I put
More?
mine up on highlights on Twitch.
Possibly. I'm still getting my YouTube situation sorted out. My internet has been iffy, so we'll see.
But Potion Shop and I have both decided to support putting this on Spotify. So ! podcast in my stream chat. I don't know for the rest of you, it probably is too. If it's not, it should be. Moreland, you need to update your ! podcast command.
Oh yeah.
But we are putting this on Spotify. So we're trying to make a true and honest podcast here where we talk about equal parts BDO and other MMOs. And we're trying to figure out the balance here. It's our second episode. We appreciate you guys watching us individually and also collectively. And we'll be back next week. Thank you guys so much.